All right. What is up, everyone? What is up? We're finally here. Took a little bit. Apologize for the delay. But we are here. Episode 39, Planet Xbox, as promised. Fully loaded, fully staffed. Big shots out. Big shout out to...
You gave DreamCast the big TV? That's epic. That's epic.
I'm the king here for 1 week.
Well, thanks, Addict, for I'm not even done. Let me finish the intro. But yes. Big shout out to DreamcastGuy for being a part of this show tonight. We got a lot to talk about. Actually, it's one of your recent videos that kind of make me want you to hurry up and get on quickly. yes. So before we get on to the intros, I do want to take this moment to say thank you, DreamcastGuy, for joining us, and please introduce yourself. Even though everybody here knows who you are, but for those that tiny percent that probably don't, please.
Well, hey, I'm DreamcastGuy. I do all sorts of stuff like top 10 lists, tons of game reviews, and gaming rants, which is probably why I'm here today. I kind of specialize in more data-focused stuff. I kind of like to do really in-depth reviews of all sorts of different topics. And this week, I really kind of dug into Xbox, the good and the bad. So since I've been actually a fan of KidSmoove for a long time, when he asked me to go on his podcast, I was actually very happy to be here. I'm very, very happy to be here and talk with all y'all. So, yeah, thanks.
Question, Dream. Have you been watching KidSmoove's Bloodborne stream?
Yes.
No, please.
I actually hopped into it the other night when he was just destroying it. He was just sitting there silently, like leaned forward, killing everything. And I was like, all right, yeah, that's good.
Oh, thanks.
Last night.
Yeah, I rage quit. I rage quit after an hour and like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
It wasn't long at all.
Killed by the flamethrower, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, how many times you gonna let him like murder you without? Like, you can't be close to him. When he does that flamethrower, you gotta be away. No, it will one-hit you almost on anything. Like, it does massive damage.
Yeah, I mean, it was, the thing is, and we'll move forward, but just to do the touch-up, the thing about, everybody was like, oh, you were doing so good the first time around, you were about to kill him and all this other stuff, and I was like, that was a fluke. I was scared as shit, I wasn't ready to fight him, and I was just swinging and dodging until I died. It was a fluke.
This isn't one of those games where you can, like, wing it. Most of the time, you will die if you try to wing it.
I'm there for the rages, bro. I'm there for the KidSmoove rage. That's the part I'm there for.
You were doing everything you need
right.
to. But the difference between that stream and the stream you did last night is you didn't let that dude with the flamethrower get close to you like you did last night. You let that dude get it right on your back and pretty much touch your back and then just like flamethrower you to death. It's like a Kamehameha wave that just kills you automatically.
Yeah.
He was trying to get that warm back rub. It just didn't go so well. Yeah,
unfortunately not. And hopefully tomorrow I get something done. But as promised, let's get through the intros. We're gonna start with let's start with Merc. Let's start with Mr. Marketing. Merc Marketing.
Yo. What's up, Merc305? You guys know where to find me. 5 Gaming on Twitter, Merc305 everywhere. Just hit me up. I want to thank DreamcastGuy for being on. I want to thank everybody who's out there watching live right now for coming out and supporting. And man, let's get into these games.
And Frog, my man Frog, what's up?
Whoa.
What is going on? I'm Frogs with Dope Gaming. You can catch me in my Frogs with Dope Gaming channel. Starting to probably do some reviews here and there. Just really happy to be here as always and give my sometimes maybe opinion that's not liked. But let's get into the topics.
All right, I think that was a dig at me. That was a dig at me, wasn't it? Yo. Anyway, let's
already going left.
All right, to the co-host Gaming Addict, what's up?
What's going on, you guys? Appreciate everyone for coming by. Appreciate Dream for coming by. Jack Move, I saw your comments in my video. Fuck you, dude. He was like, I beat him in my first 4 tries. I'm like, this motherfucker. That's the first thing I thought to myself.
Here we go.
And my favorite, Jez, what's up?
Oh, I'm your favorite now. I'm moving on, man. I'm moving on up.
I don't have favorites, but I just like to hear from Jez.
We know who your favorite is. It's Erica.
Oh, there it is. Yo, that's what's up, man. This is Grinds My Gears. Check me out at Jez7780 on Twitter and my channel. It's What Grinds My Gears on YouTube. Also, GMG Jez77. I think that's what the title is. I'm waiting to change it, but it's What Grinds My Gears. I just put up some video of I just tested out that Wipeout VR. That's been insane. I post up some VR stuff and I've been doing some reviews. I put my impressions on Sea of Thieves. I usually have a rant once a week.
I was thinking to myself when you were playing that, I should get like a bottle of liquor, and every time someone passes you on that game, I just take a shot.
Oh, really?
And I do.
I'm shooting at them, man. That was the sound in that game is insane, and just hearing them go pew pew like around your head. Yeah, but I think you're probably watching the combat one. Was that the one? Because I came in first a couple of times.
I have no clue what I was watching.
Yeah.
All right.
Your content before you comment.
and Psycho Man, what's up?
What's up, everybody? This is Cycle Gamer. You can catch me on Twitter. Yeah, man. Big shout out to DreamcastGuy for hopping on, and let's get to the topics. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, and I'm a big fan of DreamcastGuy, man. I was excited.
Yeah. Most
You
definitely.
were all too nice.
Dreamcast.
Great content, man.
Dreamcast. If you keep doing these Xbox rant videos, they're gonna make multiple accounts to help you get to 1 million subscribers easily.
Just double like his videos. I definitely like the double likes.
But chat, please hit us up. Let us know your questions. Hit that super chat up. Hit the regular chat up, and please hit the like button because our viewer count ain't watching the ain't matching the engagement. So, oops, I messed that up. Damn.
Smash that like button.
Yes, smash that like button. Yeah. I don't understand how I do something on one screen and messes up the other screen. But yes, smash that like button, show us some love, and let's get this thing started. So it's a reason why I titled this episode the way that I titled it. It's not like just a list of like things that just happened, but I just kind of wanted to have this episode set up as a discussion about a lot of things that go on this week relative to Microsoft, to Sea of Thieves, to Xbox, and a big targeting point was DreamcastGuy's latest rant, and where I have to actually, do I have it in my favorites? Hold on, let me open this tab here, but it's kind of to the point, and I know I'm pretty sure you had to piss off a lot of people to a certain degree about is Xbox, was it lying?
Yeah, lying about new games. And I chose that wording specifically, talking about the fact that it seems like they're just so eager to put more stuff out there that I feel like they're willing to put out games that are basically early access.
All right, so in my question is, all right, so as far as in you referred a lot to Sea of Thieves and PUBG, which I guess quote unquote properly launched as a early access game, but got the hype and pretty much the marketing of a AAA game, I should say. And are you? I guess I can ask this question: as far as Sea of Thieves go, do you think Sea of Thieves, if Sea of Thieves given the opportunity, would it have been as successful if jumping straight into like their own game preview service?
It would have done astronomically worse. I have a theory that Microsoft is making a ton on their game preview system because so many indie developers now have a platform to access console fans, because I don't game on PC. I only game on console. So I do love that there is this special window to early access games. Stuff like Subnautica and PUBG and We Happy Few is on a console. That's so cool to me. But I feel like that's a very small demographic. Sea of Thieves was definitely marketed to general audiences, and I think it probably should have been marketed towards the early access bunch.
Yeah, well, Phil said, like in his tweet, that he wanted that game to be accessible to millions.
Right.
So you're right. Like, definitely, that game is marketed to the millions that he wants to. And that's one of the reasons I think why one of the biggest complaints that we had was that one of the biggest criticisms about the game is that it doesn't have the skill progression, because they want that accessibility. Anybody could join in when they want. Don't have to worry about somebody's a level 50 and I'm a level 2, and that's the game design's impacting their vision, basically.
One of the guys on IGN referred to it as Destiny for dads. It's a game you're supposed to play it with your friends, but you'll never level up, and you'll never have to worry about getting headshot by a legendary pistol. Everybody is always as strong. It's like, I don't know if I really like those kind of games. I like to get stronger. I like to get beaten. I like to improve.
So were you present when they did the I think they had a stream. It was rare. They had this big mixer stream where they were going to just give out like all this. It actually was dedicated to the progression system of Sea of Thieves. I watched it on Mixer for an hour, and when they presented the idea that, hey, nothing's like, for example, when they're talking about how the weapons in combat works, hey, don't worry, you don't have to worry about weapons being upgraded. All guns will work as intended. So whether you have a pistol or a sniper, like, you don't have to worry about powering that up and getting that stronger, and everything is cosmetic. So when I heard that, I thought, you know what, that's not half bad. And the only reason why, and this is before the game launched, but I was promoting that idea was because, let's take a game like Destiny, for instance, right? I thought before Destiny 2 came out, I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit there. I'm going to grind. I'm going to try to get it in with the Iron Lords and the Addict and try to, like, I want to be a part of this thing. But the problem is I work a 9 to 5, and they play during times I can't really make it. And then when it's time for me to play, they have to carry me and help me up so I can get to where they're at. And that plan just failed because after a while, I want to play something else. So I was like, well, with a game like Sea of Thieves, I don't have to worry about somebody carrying me now. Because it's a game where I can actually make a schedule and not worry about being behind. The way that their quote-unquote progression system works. So in theory, and before the game came out, I thought about it. I was like, you know what, that works. I'm full on. I dig it. Everything's cosmetic. While my pirate looks better than yours or whatever. Cool. I'm happy with that. So and I thought everybody understood that going in, that hey, this progression system is not what you're thinking it is. And I felt like they did try to tell people as much as possible about that. Is that what is your take on that, or at least coming from my point of view?
Okay, so just to try and play off that, I feel like Destiny, I have a lot of problems with Destiny. I'm not really a fan of it overall. I keep going back to it to give it a second chance. One thing that I will always give infinite credit to Destiny for is how genius their PvP system is. There are two separate arenas.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Hardcore arena, where your guns actually do get stronger or weaker. You can have like a sniper rifle that does 1,000,000 damage, and it'll actually do 1,000,000 damage. And there's a casual PvP arena where it actually balances everybody out. So everybody has the same health, everybody has the same shields, everybody does the same damage, and it's just about who's the best and who's the best at getting headshots.
Don't get it twisted.
Was it?
I was about to say, don't get it twisted, Dream. I played enough Destiny. They're both the same game. The game mode.
Well, they're definitely skewed for sure. But I feel like they should have done some form of that with Sea of Thieves, where in PvP every boat is equivalently strong and has just as much health. But have PvE progression. Make it where I can fight bigger skeletons on crazier islands with a shotgun that shoots out like semen or something. Like, give me something crazy.
Yeah, well, I was even thinking like it could have even been like a proximity trigger. So basically, like when the ships get closer to each other, that will basically be the trigger to kind of level out the playing field so that there's no skill-based kills. But then as soon as those ships are outside the proximity within conflict of each other, then they will basically, go back to my skilling and leveling up. And the one thing I did wanted to bring up about the whole skill thing is that there are different types of types of progression and things like that, where a level 50 has better guns, has maybe perks that will make them have a better advantage. But there's a balance, and this was one of the biggest criticisms that I had about the game, was that what were they beta testing for the last year? If there was no kind of skill or balance, there's always a counter to something, and they weren't even testing that in. And that would have been a perfect opportunity to kind of put in some sort of skill-based stuff, because you could definitely put in some progression without having somebody be a level 30 and saying now you dominate at level 1, just by having like a perk. Like I was even thinking if you had some like Kraken ink, and you could basically, that's like a pickup or something, and you could throw that in the water around you, and it will prevent people from coming to swim up to your boat. You know, and it's like, you know, think about that. And then the person could have a counter where that they have immune to Kraken ink, where they could actually, you know, swim up to your boat. So it's different skill sets. It doesn't mean one person's better than the other, but there's environmental things or skills or loot, something that could do that. There's so many things I could think of. I'm not no game developer, but I'm just very disappointed in that this is the game that we got.
You know, I almost feel completely opposite, probably to everybody else. I feel that there should be a progression in the game where, like, for example, like you see my ship pull up, and you're like, "Oh shit!" You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the part of it of Sea of Thieves that I do not like. That we're doing all this grinding and we're doing it all for cosmetics, when in reality, I want my ship to pull up. You look to the side, and you're like, oh wow, we're in trouble. And I think that would add an element to the game that I think is sorely missing right now.
Yep.
Look to the side, see the cells on fire, be like, yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
Have the big PX on his sails coming up.
Exactly. This is a big PX Planet Xbox
shooting t-shirts off the boat.
Stealing all your loot, bro.
Shooting t-shirts off the boat.
I think there's a way that, you know, look at games like Rainbow Six Siege. Everyone's pretty much on the same equal grounds, but every class has an edge that makes them better than the other class. To certain situations, you can have. I mean, if they would just do something as simple as, you know, small upgrades on the ship that, you know, it might not make a drastic improvement, but if you do it right and you sell by what your ship is supposed to do, you know, that would make it to where if someone knows what they're doing, they can still get away from it, but it can still give you an advantage. Like, if they don't want to go the ship way, that's fine. You know, they could put stuff on the ship like, you know, a better RAM if you want to use that, but it would take speed away from you. So like, you're not fast, but if you hit something, you can make like a tank where you have a lot more armor, but you don't have a lot of mobility, so you could take more damage. Or they could have something like, if they don't want to go towards the ship, like I said, they could go towards the way Rainbow Six Siege did. Let's make every different kinds of pirates that actually give different kinds of gameplay in these pirates and make the gameplay different and unique. You don't. That doesn't necessarily give anyone an advantage, but it does help the overall problem.
I think the one thing that actually drove me the most crazy, because I basically put about 40 total hours into this game for my review, and the biggest thing that actually annoyed me was I didn't like that I could never customize my boat. I could affect it cosmetically, but so many times when I was kicking so many other players' asses, it annoyed me that I'd never be able to like change my cannon layout. I never could put like flames on the back of my boat to actually dump behind it like you have in freaking Black Flag. I just felt so limited by the gameplay options. It so much felt like, especially when I was on my boat, which is 90% of the game, there was so little to do other than look at those pretty waves.
Yeah, I said we should have mini games, right, Smooth?
Totally agree.
That's right. Your favorite right here said we should have mini games on the boat. We should have fishing. We should have 5-finger fillet where you do that thing with the 5 fingers.
I'd be happy with checkers at this point. Just playing some checkers on my boat.
Checkers.
Look at something as
Got a
simple.
donation in the chat.
Oh yeah, shout out to Vegeto Saber. He says Planet Xbox is greater than Press Start Peasants. I'll acknowledge it. Shout out to Vegeto Saber.
Dreamcast guy brought up something that I've been thinking for the longest time. Like, I put a crap load of hours into Black Flag, and I love the way they did the ship progression in that game. That's probably one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games.
Good.
Like, the way they did the ship progression, the way you fought, the way you could drop. You know, you're like, okay, well, this. Let's just say you have a bigger ship. You know, a man of war following you. You can get away from it if you're a smaller ship. You can drop TNT off the side to stop them. You can bet. There were so many things they did with the ship progression. I just looked at this game and I said, for a pirate game, looking at Assassin's Creed Black Flag and how they did their part game, there were so many ideals before them that they really could have implemented. And I do think that they need a progression system in there that really is like, it makes you feel like when you're out there that you see a ship and you're like, holy crap. But the other thing I was going to say is, what is the player base for the servers? I think that, you know, if the player base is smaller, how often are you really going to run into another player, number one? And then number two, why don't they just add more AI ships?
That
Yeah.
100%.
I only got. Go ahead.
When
Yeah.
it comes to this,
I was going to say real quick, my biggest fear is that this game is so reliant on people creating the fun for themselves
Right.
that as soon as that begins to dry up, I have a feeling the entire community is just going to evaporate. That is literally my biggest fear, is that once it starts to slope down, it's just going to flatline.
They're just gonna drop some more content. That's why.
Yeah, they need to do it soon. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they're doing 3-month updates, and pets are coming. That's
why I asked that in the DM. I'm like, they're dropping content next month, right? Because the people that got on Game Pass to play this game, which I suspect is a lot of people, they're gonna drop off after the first 30 days.
I got two big problems
part that
with
gets on my nerves the most.
I just got two big problems with this game in general, and that is one, the price tag for what is delivered right now, and also how dismissive, I'm not going to say anybody's name, but how dismissive some people are at Microsoft about how people feel about what they have delivered so far at that price. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, they're like, yeah, we're going to give you this game and you're going to like it. And eventually we're going to drop more stuff for you guys later on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that in combination with how much it costs for the people that don't have Game Pass, that's kind of what pisses me off in that situation.
What would make this game so much better? It's like I said, like, and why they won't. If this is a pirate game, like, let you customize your ship. Let me get upgrades to it. Like, if you want to make it to like a point system where you can't do too much, like have too many, you have to like put it all into one area, like speed or like, and it's easy to. There's a lot of shit they can do that's easy to counter. Like, I don't know. Like, okay, take example. I play Halo Wars 2. There is nothing more than that exhilarating feeling when you come around a corner and you see the anti to your union. You're like, oh shit, I'm going this way. I'm not going that way. Like, you don't have that at Sea of Thieves. Imagine if like you're trying to get away from a ship. Hoons on the back of your ship. Then it's like, oh shit, he's got a harpoon.
Right.
You have to go back there and hit that. You have to get that off right now.
Yep.
I feel like this game
feelings like that.
This game could even, I feel like it could have been helped even if it just had small forms of progression. Like, imagine if we started out on a solo boat that was super tiny and you had to do an opening quest that taught you the basics, and then you got a 2-man boat, and then you had to do at least 10 missions on a 2-man boat to get the 4-man boat, and then a new 6-man boat. Like, stuff like that walks you into it, and when you get to the top, you feel like you've earned that experience. You now have a 6-man crew that is
a great idea, actually.
By each piece. Like, this game does too much to literally throw you in the ocean. It needs something to carrot on a stick you into the experience.
There's no tutorials at all.
Yeah, you know what? A
waypoints,
couple
no
podcasts
tutorials.
ago. Oh, sorry, Jess. Go ahead.
To hold an L for not putting a tutorial in this game.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, that was my complaint. Well, if you notice, when the game starts, it literally gives you like a couple blurbs about it, which is kind of sort of the wannabe tutorial. But if you remember back when it was in beta that we were all playing it together, and one of the first podcasts when we first started talking about Sea of Thieves, that was my issue with the game. I mean, I was literally thrown onto a boat and I had no idea like what the hell I was doing. And until now, I still think that's
you don't even know what the NPCs of the 6 of them give you the missions. Like, you just go around and talk to the 6 people. You're like, who's giving me the gold missions?
Correct.
Who's selling me stuff? Like,
correct.
You don't even know who to give it to. Go to.
I had to be taught by another player. I literally couldn't figure it out on my own. Like, my job is playing games, and I couldn't figure it out. I had to have someone walk in.
I think all of us has been played in our experience of Sea of Thieves had some person that taught us what to do. Like, I am now more of a diligent player now because we were on a crew with somebody who was just like so serious about the shit. I'm like, that's how I do it? Okay.
Oh, that's the worst. When you get somebody who's like serious, like calling out nautical miles and all that.
That was me. I was giving out boat command and people were like, what are you talking about? What's port? And I was like, never mind.
So it's like,
I'm like
military here, man.
Yeah.
I was playing with some elite people when they're like, okay, like, when you have to put up and down your anchor like 3 or 4 times in 2 minutes. Like, no, you're playing someone that knows what they do it.
Yeah.
I love that. The drifting trick where you drop it right as you're...
Yeah, right, you're turning,
I should have to smooth.
Oh, yeah! What did we do?
Watch this. Look, drift.
Yeah, because that's exactly how I got parallel parked the damn boat in between the two rocks.
20 well parallel parking that boat. That was crazy.
Well, it's the little things about this game that I think that would make it bigger because, and I always go back to Black Flag. I remember harpooning sharks, harpooning whales, getting the blubber, doing all this stuff. I mean, if they just added the element, you're in the sea, in the ocean. In the ocean, there's nothing in it except for a couple of sharks and some freaking cracking tentacles. I mean, so for the most part, it's like you're in a sea. I don't see crabs. I don't see, dolphins. I don't see anything in that game that really says I'm in the ocean. This is what the ocean's about. And it's just kind of
it's
like
not a lively world at all.
No,
it's a simulator.
There's on islands. There's chickens, and that's it. There's no birds. Like you see,
There's snakes.
Yeah,
Those snakes are like, I swear to God, they took those snakes from friggin' Pitfall. They just sit there like this. And it's like, like they don't move. I'm like sitting there, like, oh, snake's coming. The snake just sits there.
Look, I had one of those snakes dodge a bullet, man.
Yeah, it goes in the ground, right? You shoot it.
Did you guys want to know?
They just sit
Y'all
there.
ever use the glitch where you can basically fly across the top of water with a stab glitch? Did y'all do that?
Oh no!
If you stand on a rock and get out your knife and do the stab attack right on the last pixel, basically, instead of doing a lunge, it basically throws your body forward at 100 miles an hour. And since you're in the water, it doesn't know how to translate your inertia. So you just skip across the top of it, basically. The first time I was the guy teaching me, he was just like, let me show you everything. First, we need to get back to our boat. He just lies like Superman. And so I did that everywhere from then on. Everywhere, I'm like, oh, let me just get this treasure chest. Just,
Nice.
I just found something out.
What's up?
What?
A couple months ago, it was like 3 or 4 months ago, we had a dude on ILP named Eric Jabez or something like that. Okay, I don't know if you guys he does a bunch of tech and animations on YouTube.
Yes.
This dude just posted he's doing the motion capture for Kratos and God of War.
whoa, nice.
Oh, really?
Shit, nice.
Wow. Interesting.
Cool.
Oh, you posted it in the chat. I see it.
For God of War, he just posted it.
Yeah, he does a lot of. I think he can do almost every Tekken move. That guy does a lot of stuff.
He was on our show. We asked him what some he couldn't do, and he was like, "Yeah, there is a couple that's just physically impossible."
Yeah, but he does a lot of them. He does the majority of them.
Yeah. So speaking of, just to continue on with the CFDs, because we see any reaction. We know the Metacritic. We know it's like kind of like a mixed reaction. There's a lot of people questioning, obviously, the lack of content, the lack of progression, the price. You have. What's funny, Frog?
So somebody in the chat said that they said every time they look at the screen, they say every time they look at the screen, and they said they see Merc. They said they keep thinking he's Pee Wee Herman.
Oh shit!
I'm sorry.
Chat's coming at me, man. The chat's coming at me.
It just kind of popped up, and I was like, oh my God.
Wow. Yeah. So. Yeah, so the thing is,
way to point it out, Frog. I don't know what the hell.
I'm sorry, man. It just caught my eye.
He cried. It despite the mixed reviews and whatnot, and in the rants and whatnot, they did announce that Sea of Thieves did reach up to 2 million players. It is the fastest selling brand new Xbox IP this generation.
That involves ships. Keep going. Brand new Xbox IP that has ships and pirates. Number one.
What the game does, and regardless how it interacts, and regardless how the lack of content, it's like the easiest game to pitch to your friends. Like that's how these games go. Like it's not really if the marketing helps, but what sells these games more is if people like me and KidSmoove can sell this game to our friends to pick them up. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing more easy to get your friends to pick something up like, yo, you get 14 days of a trial. Pick this game up.
Yep.
Yeah. But
that's why 100% a big focus of my video was the fact that I 100% believe that this game was sold at $60 in order to encourage people to get Game Pass.
I agree with that one. That was exactly what I was thinking.
Yep.
So overpriced that game to make you get Game Pass.
Yep.
So what does that mean for State of Decay 2 though? Like, I know. I mean, or maybe it did work. I mean, you have 2 million. You have 2 million players. I mean, I don't think it sold 2 million, but I got to think a lot of that 2 million did come from Game Pass subscriptions, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two things about those two things. Like the play account was definitely including Game Pass, but the sales were not including Game Pass.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was
correct.
it. But the play account definitely majority is coming from Game Pass.
Aaron Greenberg confirmed that on Twitter.
Yeah.
But we do have to come out. As much as I hate to say this,
No, it didn't sell 1 million. This is 1 million, 2 million players.
not
unique
talking
players,
about
yeah.
that. I'm saying
Not
that
sold. No, I'm seeing the chat.
me and Kid need to take that L. We definitely way overestimated this Metacritic score. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? Well, it's whatever. You know what I mean?
What's it sitting at right now? What's it sitting
I think
at right now?
I think it's at. It's probably at 69 right now. Yeah. It's
like
God.
8 okay, like, like, and look, I wasn't even feeling this game, but I felt like the way that the media was talking about it, I feel like they would like it, and that's the people that rate this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you see, there were so many interview quotes of "I've never laughed so hard playing a game." Me and my friends high-fived twice in the middle of a ship battle. Like those quotes being on your box. There's an old debate that I really liked talking about making games less than $60 more often. And they were talking to a big publisher who I believe works for Bethesda. And he said, everybody's afraid to sell the first game for less than $60 because they assume that it's less than a $60 game, that it's half the experience.
Perception is reality.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I am
One of my friends who I played-
a million
friends who I
percent. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, one of my friends that I played A Way Out with, he's a casual gamer to the core, right? And so I'm like, hey, there's this game coming out called A Way Out or whatever, check it out. He was super excited about it, right? Like, oh man, it's cool. We used to play games back in the day, we can play this game together. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And he texts me back and goes, hey man, this game's only $30. Like, what's wrong with it? And I'm like,
yeah.
dude, there's nothing wrong
That was
with
like the whole
it.
State of the K2 discussion. Like,
Yeah, it's
you can
crazy,
price that
man.
$30. Like everybody's saying, whoa.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of what Sea of Thieves is, that Microsoft was hyping this up as like the year's first big $60 experience that you can only get on the Xbox One, enhanced by the Xbox One X. And I think a lot of people bought that hype, pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition. I feel like half the people I got on boats with were like, check out this Ultimate Edition skin. So I think a lot of people bought that hype.
Here's the bigger question. Now that Sea of Thieves, I wouldn't say it flopped. I think that's
it obviously didn't flop.
definitely not the accurate.
It's not critically acclaimed.
I think that it didn't meet expectations to a lot of games. I feel like that's a better term. Here's the bigger question. Thieves is over. What is State of Decay doing?
I personally still think that might be the best game Microsoft has in their cabinet right now. Like everything.
Like that game. They need to buy the whole company.
Well, they own the IP. They just.
Well, yeah, but I think a big thing I believe that I haven't really talked about too much in videos. I think Microsoft has the billions. They need to start scooping up studios. They need to get people who are good at churning out games. That's something a lot of people over at Square Enix now. Square Enix has been breaking themselves off into smaller studios like Tokyo RPG Factory that just puts out a game every year and a half. I think Microsoft really needs to start buying high production studios. That way they can have.
That's the thing. I don't think they have the. I don't think they have the budget for it. I think that
I don't think they're going to.
I think they have to prove themselves. They have to prove that they can bring the revenue in. Once they can prove that they can bring the revenue in with whatever they're doing, whether it's Game Pass or whatever, then that's when they'll get more funding to expand and get better games and all that.
The thing about Microsoft, they seem completely out of touch, but in touch at the same time. It's weird. It's like they're out of touch with what I guess core gamers want, but they're so in touch with where the market is for like your PUBGs and your Fortnites and shit like that, of trying to capture that of what's going on there. And that's what I see. It's like well, damn, it's like we get it. Now let's be fair for a moment, right? Let's be fair for a moment. Microsoft with the Xbox One, if you think about it, with all the exclusives that came earlier in the generation that were new IPs, it wasn't from their first party actual studios, but like they were exclusive to Xbox. These were brand new IPs, single player focus, but they didn't do too well. We got our Sunset Overdrives, our Quantum Breaks, our Rise and Roams. We're all like single player experiences. You know what I mean? The only gem I guess we got out of those of the new ones are Ori and the Blind Forest and maybe Cuphead, but those are looked at as much smaller titles. And then of course your Gears, your Halo, and Forzas are going to they're going to do their thing by default based off name, but the games that they actually released that weren't Halo, Gears, or Forza were new IPs, single player experiences that just didn't resonate with anyone. Like,
and it kills me, man. And we talked about this before, but I'm huge on those games, and so to see this whole, half of the game stuff being put out, to me, and it doing well, like that kind of hurts. I feel like it hurts a gamer like myself who likes a single player experience, like the Rises and Sunset Overdrives and stuff like that.
Yeah, Rise was good for a launch title. It was definitely, it graphically looked incredible. Like the gameplay, it was kind of like, it wasn't all there. Like you only had the same weapons throughout the whole game. But I've been with Recore. I've been playing that. That game is
Recore.
That game is trash. that game is garbage.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm playing a mobile game on that thing.
Yeah,
that is.
Even bite that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I played that. Lucky's Tales seems very uninspired. Like, it looks cool, but it's nothing where like, just look with like nothing that really tried to push advance the platform genre. Like, it's very kind of just safe and just like here it is. It is a sequel to a VR game. Like, I just feel like the games and then you see Sea of Thieves. My question is what the hell does State of Decay 2 look like, and more importantly, what the hell?
But that's not fair.
3?
That's not fair though.
What do those games look like? The fact, especially Crackdown 3, that they delayed it if they could release Sea of Thieves in the state that it is at 10% of all the game. Like, what the hell? Crackdown look like?
My thing is,
what did that look like? They could push that.
To respond to that one, I don't think it's fair to like look at State of Decay 2 and Crackdown being that they're all being developed by completely different developers, just under the same umbrella. With Undead Labs completely. Only thing Microsoft has to do with that is really publishing the game, pretty much in micromanaging. But I think State of Decay is going to be fine. As far as the bigger question I have is like when I look at like Sea of Thieves, which you look at Sea of Thieves and then I think about, damn, if they realize they can release Sea of Thieves in its current state and then I guess put everything in together slowly as maybe DLC and updates and whatnot, like glorified updates. They're probably kicking themselves for not releasing Fable Legends because they could have just did the same thing. Because Fable Legends was a playable game when it was canceled.
Yeah.
So
what was that?
I think it was a very pretty game, but I didn't like it. I'm not in the MOBAs, but it was a
MOBA hybrid. I felt like it played more like I felt like it played more, but I preferred what Fable Legends was doing more than what I preferred of what Smite and the other game was doing.
Yeah. I liked what Fable Legends was doing. It's weird that they canceled that because if y'all played that beta, it was really functioning. It was like it was pretty close to done. It felt like.
Yeah, they even included at the time microtransactions was already available in the game at the time. That it's crazy.
That was a whole service game. And Tiger King, shout out, he wants me to explain more what I mean. So what I was trying to say was, if they're okay with releasing the game because they knew the limited content that Sea of Thieves had, and if they're okay with greenlighting and releasing that game at $60, then Crackdown 3 was what the hell did that game look like if they took a November 7th release date and just delayed it indefinitely? Yeah. Like the and then even if you look at I feel like that Microsoft, Nintendo had that seal of approval because people are just making crap games and all that other stuff, and Nintendo's like, we're stamping this stuff to show that we look at quality and we certify this, and it goes out the Nintendo seal of approval. And Microsoft, I feel like, is just like what DreamcastGuy was saying, like, they're kind of just like throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. It's like, yeah, we'll put stuff in, and here comes things, here comes the game, like, and it's just like, what is their quality management over there? I don't understand it. Like, I feel
like for better or worse, Xbox team is super hardcore gamers. Now, what I mean by that is so many of Sony's decisions are really good business-wise and they make a lot of money. but some of their games are just so random. Whereas with Xbox, so many of their initiatives, so many of the times they're trying to get betas first and stuff, it really seems like Xbox wants to put games out there, but the problem is I feel like they just play them internally, and so like 10 different dudes play it together and go, yeah, see,
Ybarra's like, this PUBG is
like,
pretty good.
but, like me and my friends got together and played Sea of Thieves. Yeah, release it right now. Like, they don't realize,
Ybarra just plays on PC, bro. It doesn't play.
yeah, but that's my thought. Is like these people are just really hardcore gamers at heart, which is why the console does get some really cool stuff. But the problem is, whenever they think a game is ready, before anybody really says anything, before market testers get their hands on it, it just gets thrown out there. So,
yeah, and it'll fix it later or something like that. Like, I just and you know, and I feel like the Sea of Thieves success is good. Now you have to remember, one of the things was Sea of Thieves was pre-orderable before they announced this whole Game Pass launch. So a lot of people must have pre-ordered it and then just end up picking up their pre-orders.
Yeah, I forgot to cancel.
Canceling and do the Game Pass thing. So we'll see now. You know, I think this is a fool me once to 2 million players right now, like on like what's coming out there. We'll see now how people manage Game Pass with these games. Maybe they're like, yo, Microsoft is not putting all the content in front. Maybe, you know, Crackdown 3 is not going to have everything in it, or something's not going to have. So maybe people will be more cautious to, you know, just to lay out and pay out that money and play the Game Pass game, you know, and maybe that's what Microsoft wants, you know, that I'm sure, you know, that's what they want people to lean towards, is Game Pass, and they want those subscriptions. But
that's how they're making their money now, and that's the smart way to do it. I mean, there's estimated to be about 40 million Xboxes out there. If all 40 million people, or even half of them, get Game Pass, that is some crazy monthly numbers that surpass
Dreamcast. Do you know something about Game Pass that we don't?
Yeah,
because you in a couple of your videos, go ahead, Merc, ask him, because
I had that question just in watching your last video. I got the impression that I'm like, man, Dreamcast guy knows something about the Game Pass numbers that I don't know.
Only the little leaked stuff I've heard about here and there, and
Gotcha.
as long as we're hinting at leaks, I do want to talk about one of the main things I've heard about Crackdown 3 is everything's very established. They've had the story done forever. They have had the main level design.
Single player,
The main thing I've heard about is it just runs terrible. The engine itself is not working. So right now they're just trying to make it where it'll actually freaking function. Because if they put it out there and it runs as bad as PUBG does, oh man, that's gonna be.
That's not good.
So, all right, why not take advantage of your game preview program then? If Microsoft has a game preview program for situations like this, and it's like they'll let independent studios put their games in there, but they won't quite put their own stuff in there, especially if like to help do that. Like, why is that?
I think it's just a matter of they're afraid. What is the old thing? What's good enough for my friends is good enough for me. Like, they're afraid of that mentality of, we want to put this option out there for everybody else, but we don't want to do it ourselves. As soon as we actually release an early access game, we're officially watering ourselves down. I think that's what they're afraid of.
Yeah, I think the perception. Like,
the perception. I can see the perception on that too.
Yeah.
Just to pay some bills before we continue, William Perdomo with his $2, with his 2 cents, says Xbox is done this gen. Just switch to PS Master Race. That is, oh my god. And the Raven Flow said Microsoft understands game devs ? They bought Halo. Yeah, I guess that was a response to Dreamcast guy.
I'm not saying they understand game devs. I'm saying specifically that they don't. I'm just saying that they're gamers. And so a lot of these game heads, everything I've ever read is a lot of the people at the head of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, they're given the game as soon as it's semi-playable. There's actually a playable build right now of Death Stranding. You can play the first 5 hours of Death Stranding right now, which who knows what that even looks like. So I think a lot of the guys in Microsoft, as soon as a game seems playable enough to them, they're kind of like, cool, okay, start bug testing it.
Then you know what? That's exactly what they do with their operating system with Windows and stuff like that. Like, ship it when it ship it and we'll fix it later. Like, you know, that's how they've been working. Same thing with Office 365. Like, they're just like, ship it and we'll update it later. Like that's
Well,
kind of.
I feel like Rise is such a strong example of that because I really did not like Rise. I did not. I thought it was beautiful and I thought it had a lot of good concepts to it. It seemed like a game that needed another 6 months of really heavy playtesting. It seemed like they needed to iron out a little bit of the fluidness of action. So that's what really turned me off to it. But since it didn't get that last 6 months and they did just put it out there, I felt like I had a QTE simulator.
Yeah.
I bet it was a launch title too, so that's probably why it was rushed for the launch.
Yeah, I did not like the PS4 launch games either. Was that Killzone Shadowfall? I hated Killzone
those are
Shadowfall.
bad. Killzone,
Yeah, I love the rest of the Killzones. I did not like
same.
Shadowfall.
I love all the rest of Killzone.
Yeah.
But Shadowfall was awful.
Shadowfall is not good. I cannot
Shadowfall
get
is
through
not
it.
good.
I feel like
Not me neither.
in-depth fighting system, if they would have applied it into Rise, I feel like it could have been a better For Honor.
Yeah.
I did like Night though. I just finished it last night. It was good. It was long as hell, but it was a good game.
What
That's
game?
a hard game.
A good multiplayer with Rise, and because the story was okay, and I feel like a good multiplayer, and it would have made that game way better. But they would have.
See, I didn't mind.
You can't really have the
It was a
multiplayer
wave-based thing.
Yeah, it was a horde.
Yeah.
It was like a horde.
It was a
game.
horde mode.
It was
right.
co-op.
The thing about Rise that I guess I felt like I looked at Rise and like, damn, all this potential that anything they could fix for a Rise 2. The fact that even if they added just fighting against mythical creatures, allowing you to pick up different weapons, I would just all this other stuff that they could have like little added to the game to make it like that much better. Because after a while, the thing is, when I say a game's repetitive, a lot of people think I just say it's bad. The game is repetitive, right? After you play through Rise, it's like, all right, this is pretty much it. I'm gonna go through a couple different stages. They all gonna look pretty because some's gonna be bright, some's gonna be dark, and I'm gonna be like, oh, that looks good. But after a while, it's just like, all right, whatever. It's nothing special. But I really liked the game for, I guess, it being pretty and repetitive, and it was just really easy to get through. So
That was a good
Achievement
game.
hunting, bro. Achievement
It was
hunting.
a good story.
You could have did some good.
no, I played it a lot. I don't know why I beat it on every difficulty level on Xbox, and I think I beat it twice on PC. So,
But they lost all their like they had bad relations with Crytek after that. There's so no sequel. Same thing would stay like
yeah, but Crytek had a lot of internal issues themselves. Like, I don't even know if they
whatever it is though. But like every one of those games, like they had Sunset Overdrive that they just said we're not doing a sequel, and they lost that same thing with Quantum Break. Like I don't know.
Because nobody wants a Quantum Break too. Let's be real here.
Yeah, well, they didn't close out the ending. They kind of
it's supposed to be a trilogy game. Like, but,
a trilogy. Yeah.
Same thing with The Order. It's supposed to be a trilogy. But
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Wait, add that to like what was that game that Dennis Dyack game? That's supposed to be a trilogy. That one.
That I think
Too Human.
oh yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
resurrect
That
that!
was supposed to be the
Please
trilogy.
resurrect
And a
that.
Mass Effect. Yeah,
You know,
remember him? Where did he go? He was Silicon Knights. That was another studio they bought
Silicon
around
Knights.
the time of Rare, and they made that incredible game on the Nintendo, the GameCube, with the with all that the horror game. Oh man, I forgot the name.
Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness. Yeah.
Sanity's Requiem.
Yes, that game. But yeah, they bought Silicon Knights. That was another one they got grabbed from Nintendo. Same thing with Rare, and they destroyed that Dyack. He let go, and then the thing is like I don't know what happened. It has somewhere around these last 4 years or something in between where either Satya. I keep thinking it's Satya that just came in and was like, I'm not closing that checkbook right now, and I got to see what this video game thing is. And then maybe Phil came to the table going, well, I know it's cloud and services. We just did with Office 365. I can make games that way. Let's use our PC audience. Let's use this for Windows 10. And they had to think outside the box. And then maybe he cracked open his checkbook a little bit. So, okay, I'll give you 100, something like that. And I'm thinking because they really did not something happened where it just got stopped. Because they could have had sequels. We should be getting sequels.
Yeah, those games are been due for sequels. Yeah,
been due sequels.
I think those
And
are the very. When it comes to the games like that, I think there was extreme circumstances that made us not have sequels. I don't think it was really anyone's fault.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of variables that came together and made it to where those games.
Windows
were
8
awesome.
really screwed them up, and then that having clean slate to go to Windows
I
10.
think it was Microsoft. I think it was a combination of Cryotech being in dire need of money. That what they said that they some of their staff went like 2 months without being paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I mean, I think it was a combo that. Oh, Paul, what'd you say, Dream?
I was gonna say, yeah, and they were getting hacked at the same time. Like Crytek
Yeah.
was having it every side.
Yeah.
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 The thing
They
is
don't
that
even
what-
own their
but what-
engine anymore, right? Didn't
No,
they
but
sell
what
their
about
engine to
Sunset
like
Overdrive?
Amazon?
Sunset Overdrive, like they were basically begging for Sunset
Yeah.
Overdrive too.
Look,
Like they're like, hey, somebody do it.
Like, I know at the end of the day, people want them to support these games and make another one. But if the first one didn't bring in nearly what they put in to make it, like, do you blame a company for not investing into a sequel?
Well, Sony doesn't still mind doing it. Neither's Nintendo.
Shit, they put out a NAC too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, if they make another
Sold
Sunset
though.
Overdrive.
NAC 1 sold. And how
Well,
much?
look at stuff.
Let's be
I feel
real
like
here.
a good example is Last Guardian. They funded 10 years of development on Last Guardian,
Yes.
knowing that it was going to be
I
a
don't
bomb.
think-
I don't think so.
I don't think that game was out for. I don't think it was being openly funded for 10 years. I think that was canceled and it
Yep.
was re-brought
Yeah.
out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
they
I can
definitely
believe
paid,
that.
they paid it across the finish line.
But they pushed it through exactly. And the
still
thing is
pushed it
that
through, but
I-
at the
well-
end of the day, it's easier for Sony to do that because their executives have been brought up in this industry. Microsoft's still relatively new in this industry, and their executives don't give two fucks about gaming. They just
Right.
don't. Like, remember when Phil Spencer said he used to go into meetings on that IGN first, and he said that he would sit down with people and be like, "Can you stop wasting money?" Like, that's how they used to go into these meetings. They used to be like the little fly on the wall that got squished. I was talking to the dude who came up with the idea with the Elite controller, and he said up until the week before that came out, that almost got canceled.
That's so.
Damn.
That's because you remember the whole thing with Don Matrick. Did
Yeah.
you ever read about what the hell Don Matrick? He was such a weirdo. Like, apparently he was getting paid like $70 million a year to be head of Xbox. His house was 100 miles from work or something crazy.
It's ridiculous.
He drove a Lamborghini down out of the mountains each day to Microsoft headquarters just because he was a freakazoid. It's just one of those where it's like those people are running around.
Wow. No wonder he always had that dumb look on his face, but
At the end of the day, that guy said at the end. What you're saying, Dream?
I was gonna say, he's like, as soon as I'm done with this interview, I'm getting in my Lambo and I'm driving off of the sunset.
on his nuclear sub.
let's got to pay a quick bill right quick. The Ravenflow says for $199, next gen is on Spencer. The checkbook is now open. Any thoughts?
Oh man, that checkbook's open.
Yeah.
You know what though? I'll tell you this.
Indies.
Go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
Oh no, you go, man.
Microsoft
I almost feel like. Oh, I'm sorry, Addict. Go ahead.
never been in the situation that Sony has. Like what? Like it's like the dude who made the dude who's working for Sony now. He says they're a lot more open when it comes to risk because that's what their entire industry was built off of. What this was this industry. When it comes to Sony, I don't think it was. I don't think it was the CEO of Microsoft that was really hurting them. I think it was Phil Spencer's boss that was really hurting them because
Terry Myerson.
he said multiple times he was not for the Xbox brand. And he was the person that Phil Spencer had an answer to for everything. Why you think that they always get so much accessories approved? Because he was actually in the accessories department. That's the only thing he agreed on when it came to Xbox.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad Addict actually said that because that's actually a good segue into what I was going to say.
Go ahead.
You know, with Phil Spencer now reporting directly to Satya Nadella, right? And before everybody knows, Xbox was under the Windows
How's my
division.
Nintendo doing, Phil? How's my
Right, and Phil Phil used to report to Terry Myerson and all that stuff. And when you see him now report, you know, he gets a promotion and now he's part of, Microsoft leadership and Game Pass and the announcement of cloud gaming division, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It almost seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys disagree, it is what it is. It almost seems like Microsoft for the first time is not treating Xbox like a side project. Like they're actually maybe almost borderline getting serious about it for the first time as a company itself.
I would say,
Go ahead.
I would
Go
say
ahead.
in the last year, it definitely seems like that. It seems like they're finally at the dinner table and realize, okay,
Correct.
we gotta cook something before we starve to death.
And you know
Right. It's
what
the only consumer product that hasn't failed for Microsoft outside of Windows and Office.
Yeah.
Well, I would say I wouldn't say this is the first time. You know what I mean? Because if you look at the 360, it was doing well.
They caught lightning a bottle with the 360 though.
I'm saying, but it was doing well, and so that could have earned them a seat at the table, or not seat at the table.
It's not that it didn't earn them a seat at the table. At the end of the day, they were still making so much money off everything else. It was like, let's just let them do what they want. This doesn't have nothing to do with Windows. I think what got them a seat at the table and got Phil Spencer where he was the only person who was like, okay, we'll push Windows 10.
Yeah, but I wish it was Xbox at the table. It's not Xbox at the table. It's Windows gaming at the table.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gaming
The only reason that they're at the table, period.
Exactly. That's the reason why they're at the table.
Windows
Xbox
2.
is still in the hallway. Xbox is a device. It's a device now. It's a device, a home device, whereas the PC is your mobile device or maybe your office device. And the console now, Xbox,
it's part of the equation only. It's not at the center of the equation.
Not the center.
Yeah,
and that's what I find that the problem is going to be is that
the center of that entertainment is the Xbox.
As
for
a
your
service.
TV. They look at it as a device for your TV. But Xbox as let's make a game for the console, that ship has sailed. Like that's not it anymore. It's gaming now. It's Windows gaming. It's Windows 10 store, which
really
I hate.
Feel hurt. Like I really since that I'm the
You still think that Xbox is relevant to them? You still think?
No.
Well, it kind of has to be. When you consider Game Pass and you consider
invested into the Xbox One X. I mean, that you don't invest in this shit if you don't see any future in it at all. You don't make new shit like that.
Here's the hard truth. The Xbox division has always been losing money. Literally, if you look at the brass numbers, they've never really made a big profit. They've made small margins here and there, but the thing is, it's always just been a pet project of Microsoft. They have so many hundreds of billions of dollars. This is just their way of establishing dominance in another market. That's it. So I feel like they can try and toss around a couple billion here and a couple billion there and just see what works. But I feel like hopefully they get more serious about making money in this industry and making some freaking games.
I feel like the only reason this is happening, as much as Jez don't like it, is that Phil Spencer didn't go in there and be like, I want Xbox this, I want Xbox that. He went in there and said, I want Windows and Xbox to have this and Windows and Xbox
That's
to
the
have
only way
that.
to keep it alive.
And then they were like, what'd you say? You said Windows and that? Okay, man, how much you need?
Exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly what he did. He talked their language, basically. He can't just go in there and say they want exclusive games and stuff to make exclusive. What, to sell on with that many? No, we want it on everybody and stuff like that. So, it's good. And the thing is like, yes, they will reach out to a larger group of people doing that stuff. But the problem that I have is this accessibility, and it comes right back to Sea of Thieves. It's like, to reach 2 billion people, to reach Windows and all this stuff, you got to make certain gaming decisions and greenlight certain types of games to reach out to a broad audience. You're not making games just for your core anymore, and that's where I have a problem, that this global kind of domination that they want to establish, the streaming and all this other stuff, they're going to greenlight games that may not be the best ones that we would like. Or might be having strict features out of it. Like maybe progression. Like we could have had progression in Sea of Thieves, but guess what? We have to make it accessible. So strip it out of there. And now, we're like, oh, this game is a 7. 6. It's 68. And that's what I'm afraid of. Is this whole I'm reaching 2 billion gamers, and by any means necessary. I think it's going to impact the games they greenlight, type of games that they deliver, and the games that they make their developers focus on. And that's where I'm having a problem with it.
We're also simultaneously getting a little bit. I feel like PUBG caters to only the most hardcore of hardcore.
Yeah, well,
PUBG is for shooter fans who are done with every other shooter. So I feel like hopefully they managed to find both.
They have to do a balance. Yeah.
They give us something along the lines of Scalebound. I think they badly needed to sell.
Scalebound. That's the one that hurt the most.
Man, here's the thing. Yes, this is what hurt me about Scalebound.
Don't hate on Scalebound.
There's nothing to hate on it. And I said what hurt me about Scalebound is that they had a game, and if it was gonna launch when they needed to launch, they had a game that could literally stand with Zelda and Horizon that was in the same genre, same time. We all could have had a game that we can go to.
The success of Monster
Hunter. But it was just like when that was canned, it was like damn. And then you see Zelda and Horizon come out, you're just like, it's a bitter feeling.
Am I the only one that played Monster Hunter? I know this sounds really bad, but I was like, I want Nintendo to make a Monster Hunter. I want to kill Charizard. Is that sad?
No, that's not actually. Holy crap! I haven't heard. No, that's. I'm a huge fan. Monster Hunter is really good.
Venusaur or Lugia, dude. I'm down. Where do I sign up?
there's the Monster Hunter that came exclusively to 3DS recently, Monster
Yep.
Hunter XX or Double Cross, and they ported that to Switch in Japan, but they haven't brought it over to America yet. Hopefully, the reason that's taking so long is because we get some Charizard slaying missions.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
On the top,
Charizard's actually not really that big. Like,
I know, he's 6'3".
Yeah.
That's it. No, damn.
Yeah, really. If you look it up,
he's my height. Like Charizard's
he's-
my height.
he's just sitting next to a bunch of Japanese kids. It looks
exactly.
You would have to put something like Onyx or something like that. Onyx is big.
But my thing with Scalebound specifically is that project was so screwed. If you look at some of the internal notes that got leaked, that game was messed up, and the director had no idea how to fix it, and the programmers were insisting it wasn't broken. So it was one of those things where, unfortunately, Daddy Microsoft did have to walk in there and be like, "You're all fired."
Oh wait,
wish that had gotten done.
wait, say that again. You said about Scalebound, like you said, what happened? Is like when?
It was not working internally.
It wasn't.
Not like it. Nothing about it worked. Like they could not play it. It was so like 15 frames a second. Enemies were randomly shooting off into the sky. If you tried to spawn another player into the environment, the game would crash. Like they couldn't even test it. Like.
Right.
And Microsoft kept coming in there like every 3 to 6 months and just being like, "How's it going?" And apparently, the last update, they actually took them into a room and they said, "Show me the most playable level," and they just could not have a playable level. And so it's like, all right. And he made the director take a 2-month break, and they tried to fix it without him, and they just couldn't. So they literally went, "It's canned."
Yeah, the little bastards ripped them off.
Yeah. Do you think that a lot of these struggles that they're facing was because of the hardware architecture and all the stuff that they were doing, and maybe that's why they had to kind of rebrand or revision, because they did take out that ES RAM in the S and the X. Like,
but even the 360 had some sort of ES RAM too, though. That's the thing. The 360 had that too. It was
but actually the 360 was probably better because it was the less of two evils concealing with the cell processor on the PlayStation. So they dealt with the 360. But I'm saying with the PlayStation, it was kind of like parts out of a box. Like it was pretty easy to develop for. And then the Xbox had this ES RAM, and then they took that thing out with the S. Like I'm wondering if a lot of these engines and things were just not struggling. Like just look at Frostbite, how like crappy it ran on the X. Like it was running 720p. On a lot of those games, Frostbite was not very adaptable to the Xbox design. You know, so I don't know if a lot of
Can I
these
say something real quick, guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
okay, we got 241 people watching.
Yeah.
I know y'all busy. Can y'all hit the like button? Y'all hit the
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
button.
we shouldn't only have 67 likes, bro. That's kind of like.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and on top of that, hey,
Yeah.
Smooth, people in the chat keep saying you're really loud.
Yeah, I'm turning. What? My
Very
mic
good.
is. Oh, my mic is. I'm turning it down. Am I better now? Because now I'm only hitting yellow, so I should be fine, right?
You're good. Yeah, that's you actually got it right there.
You're good.
Oh, my bad, guys. Damn.
What do you
Hey, you know-
like? I know this was
I did want to say something. Smooth asked a question. I think it was either last podcast or the podcast before, and I should have thought about that question. He asked me, and I think it was Jez, if Microsoft this generation has done anything, and I actually, that I can say was great, and I actually said no. But when I look back at it, I think the best thing that Microsoft did do this generation was probably the re-release of their system. The design of the S and the X are amazing, and I think that's the best design console from a Microsoft game system. So as far as the best thing they've done this generation, I think the S is a beautiful console. So is the X. When you compare it to the original launch Xbox, those consoles are just great designs. Microsoft has always had a problem with their initial designs with their consoles. And you can look back at the original Xbox to the original Xbox 360 to the original Xbox One X.
But the 360 had that concave design.
Yeah, you know what the inspiration was. You know what the inspiration was behind the Xbox 360?
It was an inhale. It was an inhale. Remember
the iPod.
Mm-hmm.
It was the
iPod. And it was white.
I realized.
It was white console.
That was the inspiration behind it, man. It was like
I like when they came out with the 360 Slim, bro. When the 360 Slim came out, man, I ditched my.
Oh, you mean the black one that was for the Kinect?
Well, I had about 5 or 6 360s.
we all had a ton of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I got
it was just like coming up like, oh, here goes my other 360.
It was
Buy
thinner.
another one. Well, that was
Right, and it had the built-in Wi-Fi. That's it. It was a wrap when I got that.
Yeah, and then they added the HDMI to the arcade
There you
bundle.
go.
Yeah,
Yep.
because at first they're like, we don't need HDMI, and then Sony
Yeah.
had it. Then
Yep.
it's like, oh, here comes
Yeah.
HDMI.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are fun times, man. That
was
generation was way better than this one, in my opinion.
Well,
They
so-
have so many cool accessories too.
To your point, man, the X is, the S and the X itself. I mean, the X is a great console.
Yeah, I love it. I like just
Great
picking it
console.
up.
Yeah,
Regardless of games and all that stuff, man, if you don't have an X, man, scoop it up. The
English,
thing
man.
is a
Zune
beast. For a
HD was
console,
like
it is a
the
beast.
best piece of hardware too. The Zune HD. That was a sweet.
Yeah, it
The
was.
Zune was horrible. It was like the Xbox One original, and then they
Yeah, I remember that.
The
Yeah.
Zune HD, man, that thing was sweet. I still have it.
Nicer than the
It
iPod.
doesn't work anymore, but
It just doesn't work.
yeah, because they canceled all those services on it. So Dreamcast is all gone. So like,
You're keeping your Groove Music subscription.
You know what's
don't
crazy
lie.
about Groove?
No, it's gone.
When Groove tries
I
to
was
play
the
a
one that had
song
Groove.
on my computer, it starts up like the first 5 seconds and just shuts off. It's like,
It's
oh,
like,
I
go to
forgot.
Spotify.
I don't exist anymore. Like,
go to Spotify. It's like, oh, okay.
For you guys.
There you go.
So this would never happen. But once if Microsoft came out to E3
Yep.
and they've been secretly working on Scalebound was coming out this year, what do you think like the reaction to that would be?
Just stop.
Well, it
It's
was
not-
recertified, but
No,
apparently they do.
I'm not saying it is. I just want to know what you guys think the reaction of the community would be if that would something that would happen.
I mean,
For the normal person or the fanboy?
Honest answer, I think people would say, I believe it when I see it. I think if they announce it, they'd have to drop it and also say, and in 1 month, there's going to be a playable beta.
Yeah.
Or there's going to
Yeah.
be a demo live now. Like the
Well,
old
They do
people,
have Crackdown.
I feel like the Xbox fan base has been pushed around so much that at this point, they're like,
been a
just give
rollercoaster.
it to me and I'll buy it. Give it to me and I'll buy it. Like, that's their thing. So
Just
but I
make a
feel like-
game and I'll buy it. Yep.
yeah, if they just show another trailer of some dude with headphones uppercutting a dragon, they're going to be like, okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
to
I
that,
agree with
Question.
that, actually.
I got a
agree with
question
that.
for you, Dreamcast guy. Right?
yeah, I got
Okay.
a question too.
What
Go
if,
ahead.
right, at E3, or actually before E3, right? They announced the whole Dreamcast lineup a part of Game Pass.
Oh.
If that happens, specifically,
He
I'm
already
gonna,
has Game Pass. He's fine.
yeah. So I do have Game Pass. I bought a year of Game Pass. I definitely do a big video on it, just trying to test each one out because we have had the Dreamcast collection on Xbox 360. I don't know. I'd be extremely happy about that, but I don't know. Microsoft's so weird about what they do and don't buy. If they do that, though, I feel like that's a really strong move because it establishes the fact that they really do want the Xbox One to
Yep.
be the all-in-one system. of
Exactly. That's what tell
retro,
me. Yeah.
it's modern, it's anything, it's 60 frames a second. Get an Xbox One X, you'll see every part of Sonic's nipples in 4K.
Yeah. And reestablish like some online games like Power Stone, like having online support.
Dude,
Oh.
There's a huge community for Phantasy Star Online. Actually,
Phantasy
people
Star,
people hack the Dreamcast. They can still play it together to this day. If you put that on the Xbox One, yeah, guess what? People are going to be booting it up and playing that right now.
Oh wow!
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's out there, man.
Yeah,
They just
yeah,
got to
yeah.
make those moves.
I'd buy the Dreamcast controller if they make it work, like how they doing the Duke. Like
Dreamcast was amazing, man. Dreamcast.
I
was
do have
phenomenal.
a statement, then a question. A statement, more to what's the game? Scalebound. I guess for me, like when I saw Scalebound, I thought it had a really strong Devil May Cry look to it. And like when I first saw the game, I really didn't get it. So it didn't for me, it's just like if they announced it, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like it's not that I don't like, Japanese games. I play various different games, but Scalebound to me, I never really when I first saw it, I never was interested in it. I guess because maybe when I saw it, I was like, it reminded me too much of it had too much of certain aspects of other games. I was just like, it really didn't feel unique to me in a way. I don't know. I'm totally not interested in it. And I think if it does come back, I think it'd be a totally different game for what we originally saw. That's the first
Probably.
thing. But then the question is to you, Dreamcast guys, in your video, and I know that I had to bring this up because you made a statement I agree with, and I know Smooth is definitely going to disagree with me. And your statement was the Xbox community and the PlayStation community talking about the fanboys with both communities. And I totally agree that this generation, more than any, Xbox community fanboys are really on a whole nother level when you say something that you don't like about something on the console as far as a game or a feature. Instead of viewing it as, hey, we want this better, we want this to be better than this. It's not that we want them to be like Sony. We want better from the console. Like I always say, I think that their UI on the Xbox One, I just don't like it. I think the 360 had the better UI. That's a constant debate we go back and forth with. I think that the Xbox One is more Microsoft and not enough Xbox. It's all about Microsoft and Windows this and Windows that. It's not enough game and it's not enough Xbox. But when you say things like that in the community, I see that the fans, the hardcore Xbox fans, will attack you hard, and they're not just they're brutal. They're brutally hard. They're brutal.
Yo, Smooth, pay those bills. You got the bill before Dreamcast responds.
Because I know when Go ahead, pay the bills.
No, shout out to the Rapid Flow. Thanks for the blue comments, man. Microsoft needs to stop hiding behind secondary features.
I think he's talking more about like bringing those games and those things are just they could be adding like those things are nice, but they should be like first and foremost putting the best up front and then adding the secondary features, not relying on those. I do. So let's get back to that.
Psycho made a comment about this in the chat, in the PX chat, and this is out of that whole video. And this is not actually the reason why I brought you on, because I figured, I was like, let's get more behind it. But it's probably the only thing I completely disagree with in the video is that you said the Xbox fanboys.
Smooth, but you wanted them. Did you go after?
No. I publicly stated this is not Dreamcast Guy's like first.
I saw him holding his controller up when you were talking. He was like this.
This is not Dreamcast Guy's first like rant against Xbox, like or a video or anything like that. I mean, I publicly admitted like Dreamcast Guy is one of my favorite YouTubers. But as far as like what you said, that Xbox fanboys are more aggressive than Sony fanboys, and Sony fanboys are just more about let's plays and their games and stuff. I completely fucking lost it. I was like, what? I was like, do you not see the unnecessary Twitter and YouTube comment fights I have to get in based off just based off liking Sea of Thieves? That is crazy. I was like, there was no way I could have agreed with that. And I was like, where did that come from?
Go, before you answer, I just wanted to. Can you guys hear me?
I
just wanted to agree with what KidSmoove was saying, and on top of that, like there's clear examples of this, fanboy antics by both sides. I mean, you have Sony guys that were threatening developers and threatening.
The Tomb Raider actress. But she was exclusive.
That was
or signing petitions.
I mean,
if
she was exclusive, If you think that the PlayStation fan base doesn't have a lot of fanboys, why don't you go look at Kingdom Hearts 3's comment section, and then you go from there. And then I want to go one thing before you say, Dreamcast, because I'm feeling you're about to take over the podcast for a couple minutes. Like, look, I don't even think the Xbox fans or the PlayStation fans have a beat. I'm sorry, I think PC fanboys are the farthest worst of the three. But that's neither here or there. I do think that there are some crazy Xbox fans. But I have had my fair share of people coming at me just because I said I don't like Uncharted 4. And I'm not talking about like, okay, well that's your opinion. I'm talking about this dude's a fucking weirdo. I don't understand why. It's like Xbox fans will get it if you don't like the system, but if you talk about something that's on the PlayStation as an exclusive, like Bloodborne, oh my god, they will come to your house and hang you.
Right, and after Dreamcast Guys goes, I have something to caveat on that. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I was trying to basically get across there is I feel like there is an equivalent amount of ultra diehard and semi-toxic people in each fan base, but they each have a different sort of specialty. I feel like Xbox fanboys attack the most when they think that anybody is trying to insult their console. I feel like Sony fanboys go after the exclusives of other consoles so much they try and attack anybody who might have a game that even might compete with an Xbox or with a PlayStation game. And I feel like Nintendo is weird because Nintendo fanboys try and attack anybody. They attack developers the most. I feel like they're constantly saying everything on Switch, burn it down if it's not on Switch.
And PC's attacking everyone.
Every single game I review, no matter what I review, 50 comments are always going to be, I'd buy this up on Switch, because they're just so devout. They're one console people. So I feel like each of the different parties has their thing, but Xbox specifically, they definitely seem like the fan base that is the most vitriolic in a defensive manner. As soon as
Yeah.
you say anything negative, they come out. Whereas I feel like other fan bases are more offensive. They are very defensively aggressive.
Yeah, because
Yes.
you've been at their neck for the last 4 years.
Dreamcast guy, have you ever did a negative review for a Sony game like a Bloodborne or a what is it called, Horizon Zero Dawn? I guarantee if you say anything bad about Horizon Zero Dawn, they will come at your neck.
Oh,
I guarantee.
We're not talking about being how you are, Dream, where you try to give a good equal ground, give what you're talking about. Make a troll video saying Bloodborne shit, and then look at your comment section.
Or Horizon Zero Awards.
We'll have this conversation next week, and it'll be going a completely different way.
It's not even about the troll video, and my old caveat is it's if you legitimately think something's like, for instance, Game Addict, like you think the PS4 controller is an abysmal piece of shit. That's what you think. You think that hold on, wait, because you said it before, but you think the Xbox One controller is the dominant controller, whereas this generation for Xbox, I like the 360 controller better. This generation, hold on. No. There's a lot.
Example.
What I'm saying is this generation, I think the 360 controller to me is the best Xbox controller hands down. I'm judging Xbox on its own merits. PlayStation, this is their best controller ever made, hands down. But it's like when you say something, it's like when you say something like that, right?
Hold up your controllers.
Like you'll have somebody in the chat, like they'll say, well, PlayStation's like, they're just trash. That controller's trash. How can it compare to this? And I'm like, I'm judging each console on its own merits. I judge Xbox with Xbox. The only time I judge the Xbox against the PlayStation is when an Xbox guy brings in to the conversation of the PlayStation. And so
This isn't fair, Dream.
I'm getting out my Hello Kitty.
We're showing devices.
This is what you're making me do. I'm getting on my Hello Kitty Game Boy. This is going down.
There you go.
And so my whole thing is,
Dreamcast guy for the win.
This controller is the best controller.
my whole thing is like when I look at,
Jez came back big, man.
oh my god,
My bad.
Look at my knob. There it is.
when I look at Xbox and I talk about Xbox, I'm talking about Xbox from a point of from this generation, from last generation to this generation, from the very first existing Xbox until now. And so I don't like what they're doing. And so it's like when people don't understand, people say, "Oh, you just hate Xbox." No, I don't like this generation of Xbox. I think 360 is amazing. And it's just kind of like the same way. I'm like, what PlayStation's doing now is so much better than what the PS3 is doing. And I'm judging each company for its own merits. But like, if I say like, oh, I don't like this controller this generation, people, oh, you just hate Xbox. No, I love Xbox. But the fact of the matter is, I think the 360 controller, as far as the Xbox, go ahead.
I'm not going to even touch that topic. We'll go into this. All right. So first off, let me go off by.
You were going to ask me how's a controller better to me. I know you're going to ask that. Okay,
well, the DualShock 3 and the DualShock 4, I hate when I say I don't like the DualShock 4. This isn't really you in particular. This is going really to fucking Critic. The first thing he says, it's so much better than the 3 though. So okay, so you're not even comparing. You're comparing it to shit to shinier shit. Like I don't get that logic. Like let's compare the worst controller I've won. No, that's not the worst. I take that back. Oh my god, I take that back. Let's compare one of the worst controllers I've ever held, and let's compare it to another one that I hate as well. That makes no sense to me. Like, I just don't like the DualShock controllers. I do not like them at all. I've always had them. I'd rather play a fucking Switch than the DualShock controller.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, like somebody said, that's a you thing. I've heard that a lot.
Yo, that's the funniest thing that's been going around. That you problem thing.
Because controller's a very personal choice.
Yeah, that's a you problem.
Very personal.
But my whole thing is, and I agree, but my whole thing is, I can play with either controller, and I don't have a problem with the stick layout. I think both controls are very. To me, I can play with either one. I don't have a problem. Since I have to play with this one, I'm cool with it. But if Microsoft said, "Hey, we'll let you play,"
I'm gonna just give you my lone opinion on Xbox made controllers until they finally change them. But I feel like God made Xbox controllers for the man of hand. For the man of hand. It's like here, let me see your hands. This belongs there. That's how it's supposed to be held. It's oh my god! Wow, that's how that works.
Some for eyes in your hand that's undeniable.
This controller.
And I feel like that's what I feel. I feel like PlayStation's like, okay. I mean, it finally
That came
worked its
from
way
hell.
to use
You know,
it
From hell, right?
The only thing I'll give the DS4 controller that I do like better than the Xbox controller, which I know we've talked about this pre-show before in the past, is the tension of the sticks. The tension of the sticks, I do like that a lot. That's the one thing I would bring over to the Xbox.
No, there's a couple things
It'll
I
be
like
perfect.
about there's a couple things I like about the DualShock controller. I like the fact that when I hook up a mic to it, it cuts the audio from my Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. The PlayStation, I like the fact that it has that motion sensor, like that got my bitch killed in Until Dawn. I like that. Trust me, when the PS4 and the Xbox One controllers first come out, the PS4 was like, besides that annoying fucking light, it was way more sophisticated than the Xbox One controller.
Yeah, had the plug. It
doesn't matter how something's more sophisticated because I don't like the way my hand feels in it. I just don't. I've never liked it.
I feel like, so here's my thing. I like the Xbox One controller more because I feel like it has a weight to it, and I like that everything clicks. Everything has a real like power to it. When you're playing a game with this, you're very aware of each and every motion. However, I will actually say that I consider the DS4 like a scientifically perfect controller. I feel like each measurement of it works a lot to anybody. My girlfriend is a really good gamer, and I can literally put this controller in her hand, and she will start kicking every Colossus's ass in Shadow of the Colossus with this game. Don't even need to explain to the buttons to her. But I feel like an average person, when I put this controller in their hands, they definitely have that like, oh, there's so many triggers and shoulder buttons and stuff. But I don't know. I still like this more because I feel like it's more built for hardcore gamers.
Yeah.
I literally can't play any first-person shooter on a PlayStation.
There you go. It's official.
And I keep seeing PC
That's a you
people,
problem.
and I keep seeing PC users using the Xbox controller. So I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, it's built in the operating system.
Yeah, it was built in the operating
It's a
system.
PC master race now, huh?
When I look at what the merits of each system did and what they're built on, like the DualShock, for the biggest problem I had going from 360 to PS3 was I played a lot of first-person shooters, and I thought the DualShock 3 was a trash controller for it. I hated shooting with the R1, and I hated it, and that was from the PS1 era all the way up to the PS3 era. We had to use the R1 and
Shoulder
L1
buttons,
yeah, and I hated it.
I know.
But I think what the DualShock 4 did is it really said, hey, this is the controller that you can play the first person shooter, the fighting game. Like, I hate playing fighting games on the Xbox. I hate it because I think that controller just
touches his Xbox.
Everybody's bringing up the share button though. That is something that Microsoft.
Oh my god,
the share button.
Bullshit, man.
Like, I think both controllers are easy to play shooters
share
with.
button though.
Yeah, I think when it comes to certain games,
you
like
need that.
I would rather play. Go ahead.
I would give you the share button before they made it. I mean, look, the share button's always going to be more accessible than the Xbox's way of doing it. But let's not act like the Xbox way is doing it so complicated. You need like a bachelor.
It's not complicated, but it takes you out of the game.
You
That's
literally,
the problem.
Hey, I must be a
Xbox
so-
version
hold on,
takes
hold
you
on,
out
hold
of
on.
the game.
So-
You have to go to a menu screen in order to do it.
It's because
screen to post it to Twitter on PlayStation.
No,
No,
I'm
as
saying
soon-
just to capture it, you hit a button.
as soon as you tap share, it immediately saves like
It immediately says right.
On Xbox,
Yeah,
you
I
have a
do- I
slide
do.
out. Now, what happens? Guess what? If that slide out comes out, does it make the game go automatically pause? Does
That's
it make the game keep going? You don't know. Hit the button.
because it was originally designed for you to go Xbox, save that.
Right.
No, I said save that. No,
Oh,
shut up.
Connect is with ET right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Jez, Mikey Barra tweeted a tweet for you today. Did you see it? They changed the Twitter share.
Yeah, they did.
They're gonna change the Twitter sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they did.
it's gonna go direct to Twitter. No
Finally,
longer.
because
Yeah.
you have to do that even on the PC. Like if you capture it, you have to like upload it on the Xbox in order to
Correct.
You have to upload to the
I don't
server.
understand.
Yeah, they're
Whoever
gonna change that.
whoever decided to do that from the start, like what the what?
I feel like I'm not.
So I didn't see he
like,
just did that now. He
PlayStation
just
controller
did
for
that
the
right now.
for the D-pad.
He just
for
tweeted
fighting
that
games.
like before the show.
Oh my
Before the
god!
show.
You
Yeah.
said you think you're what?
I think I'm the only person that doesn't like the PlayStation controller for fighting games. The D-pad.
Oh, I
Oh
like
no,
that.
I
The
do.
D-pad
I
is like-
actually
that.
prefer it for
D-pad
fighting
is
games.
wonderful.
I bought so many fighting
prefer
games
it.
on it because of that.
Yeah.
I can't. It's like because the D-pad is like buttons. Like Like I can't roll for the Hadouken and shit like that. Like
I feel it has a better tactile. Like I get more of a tactile response in fighting games from the D-pad on the PlayStation controller.
Yeah, that and I flip the button. So I'm a person. I really all my friends do arcade fighting tournaments.
Yeah.
Literally, so I grew up being
PS4.
player 2 and getting my ass kicked. So now I destroy people. Like average noobs can't even touch me because these feel like arcade buttons. I'll actually hold my controller like this.
Clicky.
So I can do all the freaking arcade motions and just destroy people with the PS4.
That's the one thing on the Xbox One controller I hate. That D-pad is trash for me. I know some people like it, but for me it's trash.
Yeah, I think it's a better design than the 360 D-pad, but I think just the way that the 360 controller fit in your hand, you're
reaching down.
It fit in your hand so perfectly to me. That controller was just, I don't know, like the 360 controller, hands down to me. Just like
while we're going down memory lane of the 360, remember the convertible 360 controller D-pad where you turn it and like it pops up.
I never used the screen share thing a lot on PlayStation. So like, tell it to a video or a picture. Like, how does that work?
You click it, and as soon as you click it, it says, do you want to save this as a screenshot? Do you want to save this as a video?
Right.
Or do you want to post it? And even as soon as you press the button, it automatically does all three. So
and I switched it up so that when I press it once, it automatically takes a screenshot. When I double tap it, it starts my video recording.
Yeah, that's how I have
that menu show up. And then if you hold it, it brings up the menu for me to share it. But Xbox, when you hit the button, it brings that thing over.
Let's move on from controllers.
I don't really fuck with that at all. Like whatsoever.
Yeah, if you don't like sharing, then I just think it's a missed opportunity again for Xbox, with especially having the 4K and the X. Getting that thing on Twitter, getting those video clips out there, getting those screenshots out there. That is important. All free marketing for their Xbox. Like, how's this game look? Like, just recently, actually, in the news was that Far Cry wasn't allowing screenshots. I don't know if it was something with the update, but
somebody said PlayStation was blocking that feature on Xbox.
I took screenshots of Far Cry yesterday.
That shit was funny, dog. Like, I was like,
PlayStation
they want to show it in 4K.
No, I was able to take screenshots yesterday of Far Cry.
Well, you can't share them. You can take the screenshots, but they were blocking the sharing. Like, I think it was something to do with just the Ubisoft and the Xbox. I had nothing.
It's probably with this stupid ass law they got every while, because everybody's going sensitive now. Since we live in a sensitive society, you know how everything's going to be deemed offensive and
because that game is like controversial topics.
Well, I don't know what it was, but everybody was saying that PlayStation was blocking Xbox from showing it. I thought that's the story.
It's a strong accusation.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they got the marketing deal. They don't want us to share our photos. It's like,
they don't want to show off the power of the X.
Yeah.
Keep that power. Yeah, that's like, oh my god, that is funny.
I'm like, I highly doubt that that's what it is.
No, it was some sort of update. They fixed it, I think, today or something like that with it. But now you can able to do it. But yeah, I think that's hilarious.
Hey, $2 donation says, can DreamcastGuy link that controller, please? You got kind of like a special custom controller. Which was that?
Oh, which one? Oh, my play link. I don't know. I have several custom controllers here. Maybe they meant this is called Power A. This is my custom controller for Switch. That's the Pro controller. It basically perfectly rips off the Xbox 360. I like that.
That's a good controller. That Pro controller.
Because I actually play a lot of Splatoon 2, which is a pretty hardcore shooter on Switch. When you have this, you can crush those little kids. They'll cry. And then this is
all those
play gaming accessory. This is one of the best third-party Xbox One controllers. I'm not sure where to get these on Amazon and stuff. I like this one though because it is just wired controller, headphone jack on the bottom, real quick to adapt. I like that one just so I can plug and play. Never worry about batteries while I'm reviewing.
That's what I have. Yeah, plug and play.
Yeah.
Hey, so what do you guys think about the PS Plus and Xbox games? Yeah.
Good month for both.
I think they're good for both. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Xbox wins.
Yeah, Xbox wins. But, I'm
I
glad.
think Microsoft. Go ahead.
I'm glad people are going to finally play Trackmania Turbo. That game is literally Hot Wheels meets GTA.
Yes.
So.
Oh.
Yeah, I play that. That game's in Game Pass, right?
I was gonna say, I think Microsoft's been listening to Jazz or something, man, because they've been. Now when I saw the games of gold, I'm like, oh no.
You got Assassin's Creed Syndicate. You got Dead Space.
They heard me yelling.
That's probably one of the best Assassin's Creeds they've made.
Yeah,
That
but it
was
was
the goal.
overshadowed
This wasn't
because
Unity.
it came out after It came out after Unity, and nobody wanted to touch it because
You cut it out a little bit there, Smooth.
You cut out
a
what
little
was
bit.
that? It came out when?
Syndicate came out after Unity, but it didn't sell well
Right.
because of Unity. Nobody wanted to
But it was
touch
a
it.
good game, though. It was a good game.
Pretty much.
Unity fucked up the Assassin's Creed brand so bad they had to completely change everything.
Retool the whole thing.
Yeah, but I don't care what anybody says. Origins is the shit, man. It's like my favorite, my favorite Assassin's Creed experience.
I'm picking it up because it's Smooth, bro.
I think everybody agrees with you. I'm definitely the one exception, and I realize I am
No, you're
wrong.
not.
I definitely realize it's not connecting with me. It's a clear game.
Right.
A friend of mine heard me talk about how I didn't like it, and he bought it on sale and ended up putting 120 hours into it. He's like, "Let me tell you about how wrong you are."
My thing I don't like about it is like I enjoyed, one of the things I really enjoyed about Assassin's Creed was the multiplayer.
Mhm.
And when they took that out, I was like, and the
I never messed with the multiplayer at all.
It
wasn't
At all.
It was
Not in
most
Assassin's
people-
Creed, no.
Most people
Nope, not
didn't.
in Assassin's
I
Creed.
heard they talked about it. They said like 1 in every 1,000 people played it, and they're like,
Yeah.
we can't
Had
donate.
no interest.
Yeah, we can't donate a tenth of our development time to making sure that all these blades are balanced for PvP.
Yeah,
like a lot of people just didn't want to understand the concept and how to actually play the multiplayer. But like it was really about like knowing how the AI responds and how a player responds, because everyone has the same characters, and you'll see the same character. The whole point of Manhunt was to find which one was a player and which one was the actual AI.
Yeah.
So you'd be going down the tree and you think, okay, this is it. When all sense you're actually following a player, but he let you see him on purpose so he could run by his friend, and then you get poison killed.
I mean, I think with Assassin's
concept.
it was a cool concept, but I think it's like I felt like Assassin's Creed. There's just certain games that don't really need a multiplayer. It kind of feels like they're tacked on. Like, hey, let's just add multiplayer because it's a cool thing. Assassin's Creed is all story based. I don't think it needs multiplayer. I don't think it hurts that game to not have multiplayer. It'd be just like Uncharted. If Uncharted didn't have multiplayer, I could care less. There's just some games you
definitely.
don't. I don't think you really
Right.
go into them saying, "Hey, I want this to have multiplayer in there." Sometimes when they do that, they feel tacked on.
Correct. I agree with that, Frog.
As a random side note, somebody decided to actually basically make their own version of Assassin's Creed multiplayer as a standalone game, and it's about to come out. They sent me a code for it. I played a little bit. It's very interesting. It's called Murderous Pursuit, and it's basically like a murder mystery party.
Hold up.
What? It's like half the people are real players and half the people are like NPCs, and you have to blend into the crowd. And the more like elaborate way you can murder the other party guests, you get more points until you're the
That
last man
sounds so
standing.
cool.
Yeah,
I think they sent me an invite to their booth at PAX.
Yeah,
Are there at
yeah, they're
PAX?
really
Oh,
trying to
wow.
promote. It's really interesting. They randomly sent it to me, and I can play it all of this weekend. They're doing like a closed beta this weekend, and I think an open beta later on. But
Is
it's
it third person? Like that's how it is?
yes. It look at their
Cool.
Can you send me that information after this podcast? I do want to check in on that.
yeah. It's all through Terminal. I don't know if you use Terminal.
But I'll use it if I have to.
Yeah, it's basically if you're a YouTuber and you want to try and talk to developers directly and they want to be able to communicate with you, Terminal, you basically log in with your YouTube channel and then they send you games directly. That way they're not always having to hit up your business email. So that's how they send, like indie developers flood me with stuff, and it's an easier way to get my attention when I'm not, working on stuff.
All right, and we got I think we got another $2 from the Raven Flow. He says AC gimped the story until Syndicate and Origins. So I don't know if anybody.
My only issue, and I think we talked about this before. My only issue with Origins is that they forced you to do those damn side missions. Like I want to progress with the story and I want to know what happens, but it's like I have to fight these side quests in order to level up, in order to fight these people. You know what I mean?
I
Like
hated that.
that's what takes me away from the game.
Regardless who says what, besides the new assassin, I don't even remember his name.
Bayek.
Bayek? You don't know? Oh,
Back.
Yeah, but Syndicate was cool. Like it made you bounce between two different styles of assassins.
All I have
Yeah,
to
one was
say,
brute. I thought it was pretty cool.
what's up,
Yeah.
Demigod?
Altair would make all of them his bitch.
There's a
Oh, dude, hell
another
yeah.
thing that I wanted to, there's another thing I wanted to touch up on was the major spring sale that's currently on Xbox right now. Did you guys get to check out any of the games that's on sale? Did you pick up anything?
I did. I'll be picking up Origins actually.
Yeah, Origins.
sure.
Yeah. Right.
Definitely gonna
even
pick
see
it
it.
up.
As a matter of fact, probably want to check it out now. I haven't seen it.
Some till April 9th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Big deals.
April 9th?
I might actually take out Agents of Mayhem. You can get like you can get it for like $12, $12 and $10. Yeah. So
Really bad if it's $12.
They finally add
Well,
HDR to it, I think.
I heard that game sucks, but it's one of those things where I'm definitely I have like the $10 rule. If something is about $10, I'll pick up anything. You know.
Like a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$10
I can
is
agree
an
with that.
investment where you could pick up a trash game and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the
I
very
agree.
least, it'll be a good story to tell of like, guess the dumpster fire I dove into.
Okay, $10 is a good investment for anything except for Battleborn. That needs to be free.
It is free. Battleborn, isn't it?
that's
Battleborn
up like
I think it's-
$7. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
know why
also
people buy
7
it.
people
It's
playing
free.
it online right now, but yeah.
I saw an interview with the director of that game, and it's really funny. They're like, how did you feel about the failure of Battleborn? And he got real mad. He goes, you know that game sold 3 million units? How many games sold 3 million units that you stopped them on the street and go, sorry, your game did bad? Because 3 million units is a lot of copies. It's like, okay,
3
fine.
million fools.
That's funny.
It's great. Look it up. It's I think it's an IGN Unfiltered, one of those like interviews where they just get to like barrage a developer questions, and he's really like, no, it didn't fail. Like next question.
That's funny. That is funny.
That's hilarious.
That was such a bad release time for that game. They should have avoided Overwatch.
Well, the biggest thing is that they advertised it as better than Overwatch. If you
I
look at
know.
their social media,
Yeah.
they were actually their Twitter account kept harassing the Overwatch Twitter account. They're like, check out Tracer and her new adventure. Like, oh, we got one of those, and they'd link one of their own heroes.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
This is
Blizzard,
David
the
Goliath.
end.
It's David and Goliath, and you did not bring a slingshot. Do not even show
Yeah,
up.
no. They
Blizzard,
should have
man.
made
It's
that.
sad what happened. It's sad what happened to
Blizzard.
Battleborn. It's sad what happened to Evolve, and it's sad what happened to Lawbreakers. It's like those are like it's crazy.
It's sad what happened on Evolve, but I don't agree with you.
I think Cliff Blazinski shot himself in the foot, though.
I
with that
did not
game.
like. I reviewed.
I don't know
Lawbreakers.
what
did not
happened
like
to that game too. Like, has he added update? I haven't heard any updates about it. Like, they added
I have the
some
game,
horrible
and it
PvP
just-
shootout.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. That's the problem. It's
No.
just
Not
not
good.
good. And that's
They haven't added
some-
new characters at all. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
Well, and they didn't really do any tweaks. They patched out a lot of the glitches.
Nope.
They rebalanced a little
Yeah.
bit, but they did not add any new content. I follow the developers on Twitter, including Cliffy B, and I think their studio is gone. They're literally officially shut down now. Whoever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because once the publisher wrote them off, like
Yes, exactly. Yeah, literally exactly that. They literally wrote them off as a tax break of literally like,
Wow.
well, your game bombed. We're going to put that as charity. You're done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Correct.
Yeah. Charity.
damn.
I mean, yeah.
No, I feel bad for the devs that made that game, but
Yeah.
you know, Cliffy, fuck that dude. But
I'm
You know-
a big Cliffy fan, but that game's just not good.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
at
you
the
can't
end
go
of the
in.
day,
Overwatch has dominated that space.
no, like
too.
my problem with Cliffy.
Yeah, hero
was,
shooter
like,
for sure.
Yeah.
My problem with Cliffy was like you try to build your game up. You talked all that shit, then you bitched at people for talking shit. It's like you literally do nothing but talk shit, but he was getting his feelings when people were talking shit. And it's like, and all you do is talk shit. Like
I don't want to mention any names, but one of the people that worked at their company whose job it was to work for hype, like their job was to basically like get everybody stoked up. I was following them on Twitter, and you could see as the game got close to release, they knew it was going to bomb, and they started tweeting about it a little bit less. And literally on launch, they were like, "Anybody need to hire a hype person?" They literally quit on launch
wow.
day, being like, "This is done." Like I know what's about to happen.
The
And
hype.
she literally quit on launch day and started being like, "Anybody looking to hire a hype director?" I was like, "Oh, that's not a
Wow.
good sign."
Yeah, it's like the first night on PC, there was like 1,100 players. That was already a bad sign.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
already-
I'm sure she saw that. I was just like, I got a lot of stuff to take care of back over here.
Yeah.
It sucks that they had that big reveal. I mean, they had the big the
It
big
was huge
reveal
at
for-
PAX, man. Remember how big their booth was at
Yeah,
PAX? Like, for
yeah, it's
it was
crazy.
monsters.
They put a lot
give
of
those devs after that game launched. I wonder how long it was before they're like, yeah, I need to look for another job.
They stopped supporting that.
It seemed really quick. I mean, literally within a month.
Yeah.
Cliffy,
You would get a weekly update on how low the number went each week. It's crazy.
Well, and Cliffy B was really hungry. Y'all follow Cliffy on Twitter. He was actually retweeting every article called "How to Play Like Lawbreakers Better" because you could tell that he was just being like, "Hey guys, remember playing Lawbreakers? Let's all log in."
Right.
he kept insisting, don't look at those Steam numbers. A majority of our fan base is on PS4. And then I tried to log on to PS4. Somebody posted a screenshot about a week ago.
It took forever for games. I remember
It was Caleb Hiles. He's a big YouTuber who does like song covers. And he tweeted out that it took him 45 minutes to get into a match. He goes, I bought the game for like $5. So let's see what this is about. 45 minutes to get into a match. He took a picture of the timer. Like,
never joined
No, that was a you problem right there.
That's a you problem. That's a you problem. 45 minutes, that's you problem. That's your internet.
Before we go to the chat and let everybody go home for the night. Who came up with where did that come from? I just know I seen it in the video.
That came from my Xbox guy.
Mega thing.
It came from Mooch.
Yeah.
Was it Mega or Mooch?
No, it was K Mega. I think it was
No,
Mega.
K Mega.
I said this like
No. Mooch started that about a year ago. About a year and a half.
Yeah, Mooch did talk about it. Yeah.
But it came bigger with K Mega because
He said it's Zaire.
He said it's the
Mega
black.
like picked it up.
He's like, if you don't like Sea of Thieves, that's a you problem. You
Yeah, he
should
did say
understand.
the
He
Black
said it
Bot
takes
Nation. Yeah.
Zaire.
He said that. Wow, that is
pretty bad.
funny because now I just keep seeing it. So you probably he's like, and I think I accidentally used it in my tweet, but I didn't mean to. Like I didn't say it verbatim. I was just like, you have a problem with the game. I was like, I don't have the problem with the game. You do, or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, why is it? And then now I keep seeing this. That's a you problem. That's a you problem.
Yeah.
Now everybody's
Porter Rock
like,
is going to use it for everything.
Oh my gosh.
that shit is funny. But
Porter Rock did a video just on that alone.
Yep, he's like,
You
that's
problem.
my MO. I'm going to say it all the time. It's a you problem.
we're about
Shout out
at
to Porter Rock,
the
man.
tail end of the show. Shout out to Porter Rock. Shout out to everybody who came in. Chris Cobra, the Raven Flow, Tiger King, everybody who came through to watch.
The finest.
Do you
the
got
finest.
any, you guys got any questions? Please drop them in the chat now. Otherwise, I'm gonna ask you guys. Are you guys got anything coming up that we need to look out for?
First off, I want to know. Apparently, someone wants me and KidSmoove to play Witness for some reason.
Danny
I have no
Stab.
clue why.
Danny, he wants us to do some sort of cooperative stream on The Witness. I don't know how it works. I never played The Witness.
This is gonna go so horrible, man. I can already tell this. I can already foresee the future.
I would love to see who made the phone call to Jonathan Blow to ask him to put The Witness for Game Pass, for Games of Gold. Because he did not like Microsoft, man. He was an advocate of like not liking them.
Thank you, Tim Ken.
Because of how expensive patches were, right? That's what pissed him off.
Yes, exactly. He was like, and he was on Sony's thing. Like when the Witness first came out, and it was all PlayStation exclusive. Like he would just trash on Microsoft. Like his braid was not, was because of the patches and stuff like that. Like he did not have a good experience with them.
Oh, I know something I want to bring up. I knew it was something I want to bring up because it had to deal with, and it's something. It goes back to what DreamcastGuy said before. It's something dealing with the community, right? I think one thing I found in this community that's really bad, and I found it within my own group of friends that play, whether on Xbox or whether on PlayStation, there are a lot of people out here who don't own multiple consoles. I own all of them. But you have these people who own Xboxes and they'll trash PlayStation and they won't even play the games. Or you'll have these people who own PlayStations who will trash Xbox and they won't even play the games. I remember hearing people talk about, go back to like Sea of Thieves, right? There's some people talking about Sea of Thieves. I know they haven't played the game. It's the same thing when No Man's Skies came out. People were trashing this game and they didn't even touch it. They never touched it. All they wanted to do is to see the bad press. And I can't understand how you can be happy for bad press and it's a game. Like I own multiple platforms. So if I say the game is bad and I'm playing it, if it's not my experience, whatever. But when you have somebody who owns only an Xbox and you're like, see, No Man's Sky is trash. I'm like, well, you didn't even play it. So how did you know? And I think that's a bad thing in this community. That's a real bad thing.
Look,
I think it's real.
That goes back to what I was saying. It comes from everybody. It depends on the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, like I said, it was threatening to kill that girl that that was doing
voice
the
actor for
voice
Lara
acting
Croft?
for
That's
Tomb Raider.
ridiculous.
Like that,
crazy, man.
and the
No,
what else? It was the fucking the petitions. I'd never been called a bitch, all like a fanboy and all kind of shit ever in my life until I was like, hey, Killer Instinct is a good game, or
Yeah,
Rise
this
is a good
generation-
game, or
this
Sunset
generation.
Overdrive is a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes
People-
on both sides. You can't say once this side is worse than this side. I mean, Sony guys got a bigger fan base than Xbox guys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. I'm not saying that Xbox guys or there aren't people that are like that on the Xbox side. I'm just saying that those people, those weirdos, are like that on all sides, on all fronts. You can't specify and say.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it is on both sides. It's just kind of like I will see that there's sometimes I've been on Twitter that I noticed it, and it's primarily the Xbox guys in the community I follow, not all of them.
And that could be right now. It could be true.
Right, and I think
now,
it's this
because they're
generation, right?
now.
No, it's crazy.
Right.
Here's the problem I have, right? Because it's the inconsistency.
Super chat.
Oh, super chat.
Super
All right,
chat.
quick predictions. Vegeta says, when are the next Xbox and PlayStation 5 dropping? What's your prediction, Dreamcast?
I'm not sure I should talk about this.
Because he knows something.
I
Damn,
will-
everybody knows everything. Why don't we know anything? Smooth.
So I'm going to say two things. Number one, PlayStation 5 is probably coming in 2020, and I say that because I know for a fact they are not making PlayStation 5 games yet. I have good sources that say that nobody has a PlayStation 5 development kit. It doesn't exist, which means PlayStation 5 hardware is not yet finalized. And I do think that the Xbox 2 is coming in 2019.
Whoa. Next.
2019.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay, now everybody else make their predictions the way I'm
All right. On that
All right.
case, I'm gonna.
Yo,
My prediction
that will
is
be
the
that would be-
PlayStation. I still say PlayStation 5 in 2020. I think the next Xbox, I honestly think is just the Xbox One X, and they just say, okay, you can make games specifically for the Xbox One X.
Oh, yeah.
because
I've
it's
seen
nice
that.
enough upgrade. If you really just add a new CPU to the Xbox One X, it's already a new console. But I don't know why they have all
Do you
this
think
GPU. And
next year
I
they're
don't
gonna
get it.
flip the switch and just say you can make Xbox X exclusive games next year.
Yeah. I think
That won't.
And that's the next gen. And then they're just gonna wait for PlayStation 5 to come in and just like
I don't think the PlayStation 5 honestly is going to be that remotely that much powerful than the Xbox One X. The
Sony's gonna go for
only thing
power.
they can
You know
do
they are,
is
man.
They have to attack the CPU. I mean, do you think they're going to go greater than 12 gigs of GPU? Do you think they're going to go to 16?
I just gonna
Fortnite
messed up,
resolution
man.
on
they're gonna
You messed up. You got the PlayStation people in that chat. That's two. They have to be out by now. It takes years to make that PlayStation games.
No, they're not. I can 100% confirm that the people do not have PlayStation 5 development kits yet. So that's why I think if we're going to start getting any PlayStation 5 games, they're not going to be out till 2020.
I think PlayStation 5 is the fourth quarter of 2019, which is in the 2020 March. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
March. I think we're going to PlayStation 5 fourth quarter, the last quarter in 2019, which is basically the last quarter. It stops and ends in March. I think that's when we get a
So
PlayStation
you
5.
think Sony's gonna be like, fuck the holiday season for a PlayStation console?
I honestly think I think March. I think I could see another Xbox coming out next year. I would hope it doesn't, but if it does, it would just.
Oh,
That's
man.
what I want to do. Final question, just before we wrap up, and something I want everybody because I love all y'all's opinions so much. How do you feel about this being a shorter generation? Because remember, we had the last console generation was 8 years. How do you feel about 2019 possibly having to buy another $400 or $500 console?
That's because
Can I
Go ahead, Second.
Go ahead.
Yep.
No, I was just gonna say, I just want train of thought, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'll jump in. I mean, the only reason why I don't believe that any console's dropping in 2019 is because if you got the Xbox One X that Microsoft which launched in the fall of last year, and the console's selling for $500, and they're saying that they're making absolutely no profit on that console, I just don't see that there will be a significant enough jump to justify like a new console that's going to outpower that substantially in 2019.
So
And Ravenflow, he said for $2, he says,
So 2020.
if Xbox comes out in 2019, that's a screw you to Xbox owner, to the X.
That's not going to
Yeah,
happen.
What
yeah.
happens if
so this is what I
KidSmoove's
was
right
saying.
though? What happens if it is the X? And you already
If
have
it's-
the next gen console.
That would be the weirdest and strongest
That'd
move
be-
ever.
And
You
that would
already
go
have
against the
an
whole
next
Xbox
console.
family thing, like the whole the
It would.
family thing.
It
That's like
would.
cutting the family off real quick.
I mean, it
Well,
also gives them a big
Dreamcast
jump on install base, though. Like right out the gate.
Andre Seegers, the guy who runs Game Explain, his theory was that what if they end up doing a thing where there is an Xbox 2, but there is actually all Xbox 2 games run on the Xbox One X in a downgraded version. So there's a new subsequent
right.
console.
That's
Yeah,
next
that's
gen
gonna be
anyway.
it, though.
That's going to
That's
be for
definitely-
everybody.
the
That's why
answer-
even PlayStation 5 is going to
See,
be
I
like.
feel like.
Can I answer this question?
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go cycle. Wow, yeah, go.
All right. So what I was gonna say is, first of all, like we don't have to buy. You don't have to spend $500 on anything, right?
Right.
You don't have to. It's not a requirement for you to do that. Second of all, what I was gonna say was, and I've been saying this for years, is I think these consoles are moving to a cell phone type model. Not every year, but a cell phone type model, to where these consoles come out just to keep up with technology. They come out every 3 or so years, and also I think it's too short of a time span to say that a console that came out at the end of 2017 is going to be another one in 2019. I think that's way too soon of a timeline for that to happen.
I'll say
the
that.
way
Go ahead.
the way that the expert here's where I think is where I don't completely write it off. Microsoft right now is probably in a position, right, to actually be in the best position to drop a console in 2019, only because look at what all the features right now going into a new console. Like you can literally walk in, get the whatever Xbox, and you have a library, a complete library already. So it's like, okay, and then you think about it. Now that you think about it, it's like, okay, it's 2019. It'll be pretty much an upgraded version of the Xbox One X. Everything's forward compatible. I don't think there's going to be Xbox 2. I don't think they're going to be exclusive for it. They're going to play on, I think, every Xbox, but probably 2013 Xbox One. But
Right.
it's
No. Those will play the games through cloud gaming.
yeah, by stream or some shit like that, right? Yeah,
That's totally the
Game
strategy.
Pass.
of
Like
what
I don't know,
happened.
man. I don't know, man. Dreamcast kind of got me.
But I think, you know what, the Dreamcast guy put a perspective on this, because I think Microsoft is crazy enough to do that. Like, because they don't care about the console so much. They care about the services, and any way to keep their services going, they can make it like a 3-tier. They could have the Xbox 2, the Xbox X now is your medium one, and then they have an option. They have the broad spectrum. They drop down the X to 400. The other ones are 5. We go 5, 400, and 300.
You know,
They can do it.
this is something that Addict said last week in the podcast, which I don't know if everybody caught it, but this may be something that a couple years down the road you may be looking at, like Microsoft is doing now. We're calling them crazy, and a lot of people don't like the
It's all
direction.
about options now, man.
But man,
They'll put another
we
one
may
out.
look 3-4 years down the road and say, "Wow, Microsoft was really forward thinking at that point."
It is. Sony brought this up in chat, and I 1,000,000% agree with them. It's really coming down to backwards compatibility at this point. Just the idea.
Yep.
The
If
library.
The PlayStation 5 starts out being able to play everything that plays on a PlayStation 4, including digital releases, including
Yep.
digital PlayStation 2
Yeah,
games.
that's gonna happen.
That's a big
for
head
sure.
start. But if Microsoft jumps out there and makes it where the Xbox 2 plays Xbox One games in freaking X
The
graphics
360
4K,
game, yeah.
and then also Xbox 360 in every Games Pass game,
Xbox
Sea
One,
of Thieves
the original.
sucks a little bit less, then yeah, people would totally buy that.
Imagine, like, I do want to say when it comes to that perspective, and it's like I said, it's like I've said it multiple times, like, I really like, and you know, part of me feels like Sony decision to go backwards compatible, but I'm telling you, like, people in the comment section, they're always like, oh, Sony don't need backwards compatibility. I'm telling you, when you go
They're
against
not going to let
three
that go.
when
No
you
way.
go against
No.
3 generations of games and you only have one, they're going to need it. There's no ifs,
Oh, yeah.
ands, what's about
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
guarantee you, if they go out there and they only have PS5 games, Microsoft is going to eat them alive with marketing. They're
Yeah.
literally going to eat
Yep.
them alive.
I mean, also, let's face facts. The PS4 is now one of the highest-selling consoles of all time. If you turn your
Yeah.
back on that fan base,
Yeah.
you're literally
They're not
getting your own
going
grave.
to.
'Cause remember, we saw this
No,
on
they're
Display
not.
once
They
before.
do with the PlayStation 2.
Remember the Atari 2600?
Well, the PlayStation 3, they
The
did it.
2600 came out, and then they came out the 5200, and then like everybody still kept buying the Atari 2600, so they kept coming out with the 5200 and the 7400. Nobody moved forward in generations, so they ended up being outsold by their older tech.
Damn.
Look, Chief's coming at me in the comment section. Look, even though if 6%, if that number is accurate and only 6% plays back compatible titles, it doesn't matter how many people play it. It's how Microsoft can spin the marketing for
Yeah.
that.
Of
course.
Oh yeah.
My personal opinion is everything going forward before compatible. It won't even be bought back.
It's the architecture of these things are basically PCs.
The next systems will be designed so similar. It'll be forward compatible, and you'll be able to like somebody was saying like, oh, we'll get The Last of Us 2 and it'll be on the PS4, but if you have your PS5, you can play that same game on there. It'll just have these different textures and all this other stuff.
Option.
Yeah, everything will be forward compatible going forward. I don't see why it wouldn't. I don't think either company is stupid enough to say we're not going to have forward compatible. But I do think one thing Microsoft's going to do different than Sony. I think that Microsoft, and you said it, I think going forward, Microsoft will say that we're not leaving anybody behind. So like Halo 6 will come the Xbox whatever 2, it'll be on the X, it'll also be on the S, it'll also be on the 2000, it'll be on the 2013 box. It just won't play as well. But I think that Microsoft will release every game going all the way back on all their consoles. I don't think they're gonna. I think Sony, when they do PS5 games, and they're only going to be for PS5 moving forward, first party. I think Microsoft is going to try to hit. Okay, well, we got 40 million here. Well, keep that 40 million, and then if they want to upgrade to tech, they can still play within this ecosystem. Where Sony's going to be like, hey, our whatever first party IP is only on PS5. It's not going to be on PS4.
They'll use it as a way to buy the new
Sony's already
console.
said that they are siding with the traditional console cycle. They've already said that publicly. So I could see that being the case.
All right.
That's why I see
Microsoft is the
just
one that I
dumping
think
it.
is pushing the
cloud.
let me
the
get-
service.
the cloud and the whole narrative of having all these family of devices, which it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. To be honest,
Shout out to 3MG for the $5. He says Microsoft has the
Yo,
service.
what up, Riggy?
He says Microsoft has the services and other stuff fine, but they should plan big, strong IPs now for next gen, story-driven and competitive multiplayer now to be ready.
Agree.
That's exactly
100%
what I was saying. Where like Netflix has the Stranger Things, like everybody has the IPs, the exclusive content. AMC has it. They have the Walking Dead. Content is king, and if you're going to have a service, you need to have the content. That's why this whole Microsoft reaching out with services now is kind of counterintuitive, because the content is still coming or planned to be like improved. So it is kind of tough right now, because they kind of do two things at once. But they need to develop those IPs, and I think they need these studios. Like, that's the thing. And my whole thing with the whole Microsoft with the studios is that I think they're buddying up a lot more with the indie crowd, the indie developers, and trying to get those smaller games on, because Game Pass, like, just look at the recent Game Pass for this month. They have a game launching exclusively on Game Pass first. It's actually Game Pass, but you could buy it for $20. But it's that, what is that? Robo-Blocks, or not Robo-Blocks.
Damn it! I told you the name in
Roblox.
the chat. No, it's not
No,
Roblox.
it's not Roblox.
It's a brand new
Roblox.
game.
Robot something. It's a building robot game with blocks and
Robocraft.
but-
Robocraft.
Robocraft.
Yeah.
So that's launching and that's an indie game launching in Game Pass, but you could buy it as well. And I think that's what E3 is going to be about. But I think Microsoft is going to be going after those kind of lower tier guys to build up their portfolio of games, because those guys are more willing to take the risks on their services and use those risks to promote their games. I don't see them going Ubisoft, like, give me your next game and put it on our thing exclusively. Like, I don't see them doing that. Yeah, it's too expensive, and those guys spend too much money on those games
And the thing is,
want a Game Pass.
gaming has even though gaming has grown over even though gaming has grown over the years, like, we've lost so many publishers and developer studios. There used to be way more development, like, because we had way more games back then. And now you're seeing, like, the bigger is kind of dying off, and then you're getting these larger and larger independent studios that can do, I mean, granted, it's limited with those type of games, but that's really the subsidy. Remember, we had true AAA and AA type games. Now it's just really AAA indie.
Indie games. It's amazing. It really is amazing just to like how Sony manages their studios, I guess, like how they do their movie studio, or like it's amazing how they keep track of so many of those studios. Like every game I boot up is like this studio, and it's like, Microsoft, I wish they're more onto the developer end. They want to use the tools in developers' hands, like they said. An Xbox user is the person that turns on Minecraft on the Switch. Somebody who uses Havoc on a game, that's an Xbox user to them, or that's a client. And they changed that, and I think they're going to be going to those guys because those guys need the tools that Microsoft could groom them and put them in their ecosystem, and then kind of and I think they're going to be focusing a lot on those guys and not necessarily buy these big studios and these big hits and stuff, and maybe outsource their IP to second party.
What I need to do now is buy AMD and then force Sony to take the recall the cards and shit.
The thing is even if they buy AMD, even if they buy that thing, they're going to pull the Minecraft. They saw that Minecraft money, man. Yep. They'll do AMD, and they'll be like just like how they use Blu-ray in the Xbox. Like it's
the Havoc engine.
Or the Havoc engine. Like even if they buy out something, they're not buying it to keep it off the platforms anymore. That's Don Matrick and his Lamborghini in the hills. That's gone now. That's not happening anymore.
But let's wrap it up. It is pretty late. We broke 11 o'clock. I just want to say shout out to the 200 plus who watched us through the night. I'm going to let Dreamcast guy please say your outro where you're not quite finished, but you're finished.
Thank you everybody for watching. Hit that big old like button. If you enjoy our content, be sure to subscribe for future smooth ass videos. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming.
There it is.
There you go.
Funny, I actually listened to one of your videos when I was walking to work this morning, and when you said dreaming, I couldn't help but to laugh like that. Seriously, so funny. I made that up literally randomly when I filmed my first video so many years ago, and now when I say that to fans, like fans ask me to say that to them, it's the trippiest thing because it's something that's just so silly to me, but people love that, man.
It's a good hook, man. It's a good hook in your videos, man.
Dreamcast. I forgot we went and stuff. So like you have the Dreamcast, I assume, and you have all the collection. Like that's your thing, right?
Yep, I own every Dreamcast game. I've literally played all of them. I own every controller. I mean,
look at Raven. He said, "Keep dreaming." I ain't never seen him say that.
Shout out to Raven, man.
All right. Well, I was going to ask you something. So, have you ever do the hacks and stuff like that to the Dreamcast? Because that thing was crazy with like the hacks and all that stuff, because that was I remember
so I can play Super Nintendo games on my Dreamcast.
All the ROMs and stuff.
Yep, I have all the unreleased games. I have I actually
nice.
I'm gonna grab one thing before we go off the air. Check this out. This is the unreleased, totally unofficial Half-Life for Dreamcast, actually.
What?
Nice.
Somebody
Half-Life 3
is part of gaming history live.
The final build of Half-Life for Dreamcast. This was never actually launched. So somebody actually made me a custom case, which actually includes what is thought to be the final case that actually has the official screenshots and the actual case and everything.
Damn.
And so stuff like that. I have literally everything for Dreamcast.
That is crazy. Half-Life.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a great game.
I have a book. Somebody wrote a book about the Dreamcast that was never printed. I have the only copy of it, basically. Just everything Dreamcast I've ever been able to get my hands on.
You have anything signed by Peter Moore? Any autographs?
No, I wish. I've seen people get the Peter Moore autograph stuff, though. I wish I had.
Oh, man. He was the best, man.
We got to get a keep dreaming in the comment section, man. You got to get the keep
dreaming. Also, Planet Xbox. I don't know how we're doing it, but me, Jez, and Addict, we should be in person next Wednesday for PAX East. Are we all?
Yeah, we're all there. PAX. Oh, I'm gonna be at Wednesday. No, it's Thursday. I'm gonna be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm there. Which day? I think I'm
Thursday?
there the 5th or the 7th. I think. So. I don't know how we're gonna do the show, but maybe I know me and Addict are probably gonna be in person if you're not gonna. So we'll still try to find a way to do the show. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. I'll be doing a lot of stuff from PAX next week. Thank you, Dreamcast, for coming through. You guys want to do your outros?
Yeah.
Now my outro is not as cool, but go ahead. We're gonna start with Psycho.
I'll start off. Anyway, great show, guys. great comment section. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Big shout out to Dreamcast Guy. Great topics, great discussion, and yeah, I'm out. Peace.
In the Addicts, I know he has to get to bed.
I put Dreamcast's link in there in case some of you ain't heard of his channel.
Oh, really? He only got like 100,000 subscribers, but
everyone watching this 100% knows who he is. I might as well at least do it, kid. That never mind, kid. Apparently,
I appreciate that. That's some respect. That's YouTube.
That
respect.
is right. Keep dreaming, Smooth.
Bond did not say play Sea of Sleeps and keep on dreaming.
Jesus.
I have to end it with
We're gonna
that.
put that on the box. It's a quote.
I'm not even doing my my outro. I'm done.
Content is coming. Keep dreaming.
All right.
I would laugh if they put my quote on a box. I'd be like, "Yeah, you have full consent to tell people to keep dreaming."
Monetize it. Yeah, that'll be
Get trademark.
the most damnedest thing somebody could do. Like put a fucking keep dreaming in the loot box.
That's a new chat emote. Is keep dreaming.
Frog, man, what's up?
All right, what's going on, everybody? Good show today. Thanks to Dreamcast Guy for stopping by. It was really interesting conversations. This is no problem. It was really good conversation once again. I enjoyed it. And my channel is Frogs Dope Gaming. You can stop by. I usually have a podcast to do every Tuesday, but I've been kind of out of it. Had to do some neck surgery stuff. But on the flip side, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is Gen is going to be exciting to see. I want Microsoft to come in there with that knuck if you buck attitude, punching faces, not being friendly, and going after, throats. I really think we need that. Competition is good. We need that.
Merc.
Yo, what's up? Big shout out to Dreamcast Guy, man, for coming out. I want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting in the chat and hitting the like button. We had a good night out, a lot of good discussion. Man, you can find me at Merc305 Gaming on Twitter, Merc305 on Xbox, Merc305 on Steam. Hit me up. Man, looking forward to next week already, man.
Awesome.
For sure. Thanks for coming out.
Grinds my gears.
Yo, this is Grinds My Gears, Jez7780 over on Twitter. Yo, shout out to Dreamcast Guy. Yo, great conversation, man. It was lit. I love hearing all that that nostalgia and just, talking about the future while talking about the past, man. That's what it's all about. Keep it gaming, and you can follow me over at Grinds My Gears on YouTube. So I'm gonna have some content over there, and next week we'll be doing it live. From PAX East. Hopefully, there's some good announcements too, man. It's gonna be cool. Like Dreamcast Guy, you going to PAX East?
I am not. I just don't travel much. I'm based in Texas. I go to everything Texas.
Oh, you got you got South by Southwest,
South,
and
right.
you got the
PAX
South.
Yeah, I went to PAX South this year. It was awesome.
Yeah, because they do that in January, don't they? Like January. February,
I was
early.
down there with a bunch of sleepy developers playing indie stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, they come off vacation. Yeah, they come off a Christmas break, and they're just like,
That's
it's
funny.
like,
Oh, man. All right, but thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Check us out on iTunes and SoundCloud, or you can play this thing back on demand. Yeah, I am KidSmoove. Xbox is the best box, and I am the best bot. Good night, or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. We're out of here. Peace.